Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are across the world. Welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport here for the season finale. We're at Donington Park once again for the Pro Series. 3 championships on the line in today's events, and 2 drivers in the Platinum that can win the Platinum Championship and become our brand new Pro Champion. We've then got that of 5 drivers up for the Gold Championship, that of Matt Wright, Thomas Cardno, Maiga, Goudet and Hibbs, with Class and Vitas being your champion-elect in the Platinum Series. And we've still got 4 teams. Team SPR, SimPlay Racing, Greasy Bandits Racing are all chasing down Balkan Esports. Apologies for coming to you a little later than normal, but we are live now and ready to go for some fantastic racing here at Donington Park. Already can see a few comments in the chat rolling in at the moment. Rob Smith, Gary Clarble, Neil Broom, Noodles in there, no Noodles, sorry, in there as well as Peaceful Stepdad. Good evening to you all. Hope you're all doing fantastically well on this Thursday evening for the season finale here at SimPlay Motorsport. I'm Mathew Duffinand, and I should be joined in the commentary box very, very soon by that of Wellington Jimenez, who's going to be joining me once again for this season finale in what has been a fantastic season of racing action here across SimPlay Motorsport. 2 minutes, 53 seconds left of practice, and there is some interesting lap times out there. The 2 championship protagonists in that Platinum category are running a little down the order. We'll take you over to the live screen now so that you can see who is doing what in that order, and it is making for some interesting reading at the moment. You've got the likes of Vitas, who is your current Platinum Championship leader, down the order in 13th place at this moment in time. You then have, and I'm just going to double check, yep, the broadcast overlay is working, so apologies if there was just an echo. I forgot to mute my pad again. And then you've got Class, who is trying to chase Vitas down in this one, and I can't quite see where Class has actually just fallen into. He's currently 6th place in this session at the moment as well. Thomas Cardno trying to chase down Matt Wright. Well, he's the leading gold in terms of pace, P11 at the moment. Maiga trying to do all he can, is 15th. Hibbs is 16th. Matt Wright struggling down in 18th position, but we know Captain Sandbags himself will try and obviously pick up the pace throughout the qualifying session. John Goudet down in 19th position as well. Good luck tonight, says Gary Clarble. I won't name my favourites as they will crash. You will not want to pull a Wellington Jimenez. That is for sure, who does now join me in the commentary box. And Wellington, good evening. Welcome to the Pros box. You might be joining me here more next season. We're not going to name names for who we think is going to win tonight because you royally messed up Steve Millington's night last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both know it won't be Paddy Lejeune because he'll end up in the garage about 2 laps in or so.
That's what
maybe even after the first lap.
I love to hear that from you. That's what we need on a Thursday night. More of this action. I tell you what, though, his pace looks impressive at the moment for Paddy Lejeune, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, his pace looks good, but can he maintain it for a full 90 minutes?
No weather tonight as well, Wellington. So we got all the excitement in the Pro-Ams last night as normal with the mixed conditions, but just a dry race tonight for the pros.
So you're telling me I rushed home for a non-weather race?
You've rushed home to rescue me. I'll fill you in on the details after the race or in the break, but you've rushed home to rescue me tonight, Wellington, to be honest with you.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Either way, Donington Park, last race of the season. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? You know, we obviously the home of SimPlay. We love coming to Donington Park. Brilliant circuit. And when you look at them lap times, it does make for interesting reading, doesn't it, out there at the moment? You've got drivers that, for me, are all over the place in this session so far and are just, you know, sat in positions that almost, I don't know, it's going to make this championship fight really interesting to watch.
Yeah, you have the top 13 all separated by a second, and within that top 13, Vitas all the way down and 13th. So thinking he was maybe doing some full fuel runs, but 13th it's quite a ways down the order for him. But again, Tom Cardno up in 12th, 8 tenths off, leading the, I almost said silver, the gold pack from his teammate, that of Sam Williams, but 4 tenths between them. But the rest of gold looks very, very close, except for Piras, who's a little bit further off.
It does indeed. Maiga's going to be the first car out on a flying lap, so we'll ride on board with the Mercedes-Benz for his first lap. Championship orders, though, for you in this one. Teams Championship, Vulcan Esports, 1,547 points out of Greasy Bandits Racing. From then, SimPlay Racing and Team SPR are the only 4 teams that can win it. Then it's BSH OZ Racing from 4Dave Racing, Richie's Corsa, Balkan Simup, MMS Racing from Team GBR, MSA Racing, Quantum Motorsport, Sleepy Lizard, MSA, BSH Spinners, BAL Racing. In gold, it is then that of Matt Wright leading from Thomas Cardno, 7 points in it. Further, 80 points back or so is Maiga, then Hibbs and Goudet. Them 5 can all win it. 5 for the championship. I know a lot needs to happen for Goudet, Hibbs and Maiga to win this over Matt Wright and Cardno tonight, but the fact to be going into the Donington decider with 5 drivers being able to win that Wellington, it is remarkable.
Yeah, it looks good on paper, but I think that this is a 2-horse kind of fight between that of Tom and Matt.
I completely agree with you. The rest of the championship looks like this. It's Prestige is 6th, Vargas 7th, Williams is 8th from Piras to Court, Vasic, Herendich, Gary Leach, and then Gillies. Wellington, if you was actually still in this Pro Championship, you're still sat 11th, so, you know, you've not done too bad, so you've not been here for quite a few weeks. And in Platinum, Vitas versus Class. Vitas leads by just under 60 points, so a chance for Class tonight, a real big chance for Class tonight in this one. Milliston is 3rd from Harris, 4th, Richie Michelle, Marinich, Matthews, Sokolov, Alexandrov, Davis overtaken McGowan, Leger, Pletasek, McKenzie, Ludovic, Williams, Amigenda, Sots, and then Ben Rook rounding out the back of the grid. Work to do for Class, but if them free practice times are anything to go by, if you remember, Class won the second race of Donington Park when it was the Format B at Donington last season. Class won the 60-minute race here. So you've got to look at him again to possibly win tonight. Weather obviously a lot different than what it was back a season ago. But Vitas's practice pace down the order. If he's down the order again tonight, he does have a qualifying ban for tonight as well, so can't qualify. So he's got to work his way through the pack in 90 minutes. You've got to fancy Class for that Platinum Championship.
Yeah, and I was on track with him last season. Very, very smooth, very, very consistent that Class is. So I think if he could just stay out of trouble, I think he's definitely going to be back in it potentially for our overall podium, even though he is starting way down the order.
Indeed he is. So Maiga's coming through the Melbourne hairpin up towards Goddard. He goes now and is about to, excuse me, come in towards Goddard hairpin to complete the end of his first flying lap here. Remember, the gold drivers get 10 minutes in qualifying. The Platinums will get the last 10 minutes out on the circuit. Here comes that of Maiga. Over the timing line he goes now. A 1:27.5. Only 0.15 of a second quicker was Damien Hibbs. So Hibbs has moved up into the P1 provisional pole spot at this moment in time. Here comes champion-elect, though, Thomas Cardno. What about his biggest rival, Matt Wright? 1.1 seconds off the pace. If he wasn't going half throttle down the straights, he'd possibly be able to find that 1.1 seconds. I'm only joking. He is genuinely struggling out there tonight. John Goudet, the next championship-elect driver, as Sam Williams went into 4th, 8 tenths off the back of his teammate Thomas Cardno. Here comes Goudet in the Bentley. Goes a 10th quicker than Mathew Wright at the moment. We've got that of Prestige coming through to finish his qualifying, and we've got that of Vasic as well, about to finish his lap. 21 drivers in the lobby tonight, Wellington, so should be a cracking night's worth of action here at Donington Park. 90-minute race coming your way. Prestige moves up into P4, and we just await now for that of Vasic. And already, when you look at the next couple of cars coming round, Maiga, who's the first man out on track, has invalidated his lap, but he's already coming down towards the Melbourne hairpin. So by the time the last drivers cross the line, the next 2 drivers are about to come back through for their second times.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the better things about having such a short track. All the drivers are allowed to find their own little space, but as compared to Suzuka, that's about a 1:50 lap time. Kind of feels like you're waiting forever for the cars to come back around, but only about 80 seconds here, maybe a little bit longer. So kind of keeping your eyes peeled the entire time.
Well, Hibbs moved a little bit closer to Cardno. Cardno crosses the line, doesn't improve. Here comes Captain Sandbags himself and moves within, oh look, that's a bit more pace. 6/10 of the pole sitter's time. Sam Williams across the line, doesn't change where he is out on the circuit, on the grid order at this moment in time. Vasic didn't get a lap time on the board. Here comes John Goudet once again then to try and claim another few spots in this qualifying session. It does, moves himself up into P6. Everybody within 0.8 of a second of each other at this moment in time. So let's speak about this Gold Championship a little bit more, Wellington. As what has Thomas Cardno got to do tonight? We know he's only 7 points behind Matt Wright. If he takes pole position, that goes down to 6. But what has Cardno got to do? What has Matt Wright got to do in this race? Like we said, they're pretty much the two. Yes, there's 5 drivers in it, but they're pretty much the two that are probably going to win this title. What does Cardno have to do? What does Matt Wright have to do tonight, Wellington?
I think if I was in Tom's spot, I'd again just finish ahead of Righty in qualifying, bring it down to 6 points. Then we know how good Tom is in these 90-minute races, at least when it comes to being consistent. And I feel like he's had a really, really good strategy from what I've seen, from what I've heard. So I think if he could just get a gap to Righty, and I don't want to put bad luck on Righty, but I feel like for Righty to win, he's gonna have to drive the wheels off that Porsche in order to get up there.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Well, at the moment, Maiga, who has just stopped on the circuit, just had a moment through the old hairpin, is on provisional pole. Here comes John Goudet, doesn't improve on his time. It is Maiga who is on that provisional pole at the moment to try and take a point away for him to try and stay in this championship fight, because let's be brutally honest, this isn't a criticism, this isn't me trying to be harsh, but the other 3 drivers, although they can win it, they're not really in it, are they, at the moment? They need a miracle to happen for them 3 to win it, coming down into this deciding race. But if Micah could take every point he possibly can away from the other 2, then you've got to fancy your chances when you're doing that.
Yeah, and again, since the points are done by overall position, I guess we'll see once the Platinums go and do their laps where everything will kind of level out, because for all we know, Micah and Cardno could be side by side heading down into turn 1, or there could be like 8 cars between the 2 of them. That'll really help Micah's chances over Tom and really, really stretch it over where Righty is.
Indeed. Well, Cardno at the moment can't improve over Maiga. Matt Wright for the line. Oh, look at that. Moves up into P3. 2/10 off the back of Thomas Cardno. They've got just over 2 minutes left, so probably 2 laps left in this qualifying session. Goudet's on an invalid lap. Prestige has brought it back into the pit lane. Is Prestige coming out the pits? I'm not quite sure. Somebody is lining up at the bottom of the pit lane. I know that one, and it's the number 444, I believe that is, of Matthias Claes. Just go to the overhead. Yes, it is Class, who is sat in the pit lane, ready to come out onto the circuit. Vasic coming through the Melbourne Loop, about ready to start his, or finish his next lap. He will only get, oh no, he could squeeze an extra 2 laps in. It'll be mighty close, actually, if he can get one more in at the very, very end, won't it, to be fair? As Vasic crosses the line, moves up into 7th place ahead of John Goudet in this session. Hibbs next to the line. The Platinum drivers all queuing at the end of the pit lane. 0.3 of a second, though, separating the top 4. 4 of the 5 championship protagonists. Goudet not quite at the races at the moment. 9/10 off the pole position time here at Donington. He was asking for rain, and to be fair, I think me and you, after last night, how good last night was, we was also asking for the rain.
Oh, yeah, and I feel like the same thing goes for Fox Tech. Of course, all the pros get the dry weather, but Hibbs now up to P1 in gold.
So Hibbs taking that point away from Maiga, and this puts Cardno on the second row with Matt Wright, depending on where the Platinums qualify, as Matt Wright's just crossed the line. No improvement for him this time around. Here comes Sam Williams, improves, top 5 now within 0.3 of a second of each other. And who have we got? John Goudet coming round the final corner now. Is he going to be in for any improvement? No, he's not. So doesn't improve there. Stays a second off the back. But crucially, he does get that extra lap in. Vasic got a little bit of work to do here, Wellington, to get that final run in. He's got 20 seconds to get to the line. It's not a long run to the line, but I possibly don't think he's going to be here to get one more lap in. I think Vasic is going to miss out just here at the end.
See, he's got another 6 seconds. Oh, he is going to get one with
there we go,
about 6 extra seconds.
So there we go then. Over the line he goes. And that then gives everybody one more flying lap. The Platinum drivers start filtering out of the pit lane. Hibbs would love to improve his lap time once again here, just to extend that gap over Maiger. 0.02 of a second is that gap. And he does. He extends it by the narrowest of margins. 2.5 tenths now for Thomas Cardno. To the line he comes. Has he improved? He improves but stays P3. What about Maiger? Maiger does improve but doesn't go pole. Matt Wright bails into the pit lane. Sam Williams is going to bail into the pit lane. So what about John Goudet now? But Damien Hibbs, I did not expect that one tonight.
Not at all, but we know how good he is in the Honda. So probably just a few extra tweaks to the setup, and I think that's all that he needed.
John Goudet just getting 0.6 of a second, goes up to 5th. So your top 5 in gold are the top 5 championship protagonists, and Hibbs, Maiger, Cardno, Wright and Goudet. 0.4 of a second separating the top 6 in the gold qualifying. That is fantastic to see. We've still got Vasic out there at the moment as well. He's about to finish his final run. So let's see what Vasic can do out there. Can he find a few more tenths of a second? Track obviously getting quicker the more this grips up. Vasic doesn't find anything there, and he'll be done for qualifying. Needs to get it right off the racing line. In fact, he's parked it right where Class probably would have wanted to be, because you kind of want to cut the pit exit. That may have distracted Class going into turn 1 here.
Yeah, just poor decision for Vasic. Probably should have just pulled straight off into the turn 1 gravel trap.
Yeah.
So probably going to cost Class a handful of tenths, but he still has another 8 minutes to try and make up those turn 1 woes.
So let's see what will happen for Class in this race then as they come through towards McLean's corner. And we'll head on up towards that then of Coppice, as they're going to try and get onto the back of the pack. Try and get onto the SimPlay straight and get some good lap times in. Class maybe a little bit on the back foot on this first flying lap. He's got Brandon Williams just behind him. Then it's Dan Davis. Richie Michelle will be then the next driver to come across the timing line. And where is Vitas? He is in the pit serving his qualifying ban. So Vitas will obviously not take part in qualifying here tonight. And that could be huge for the Platinum Championship, Wellington.
Yeah, Vitas all the way down the order with the quali ban, but if I remember a couple races ago, he was very, very aggressive, making his way through the pack. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive he is trying to work his way through the pack. In fact, I think it was last season, because I'm pretty sure I got bodied by him.
Almost remind you of a certain Caden Parks Miller in a Ferrari, doesn't it? For championship glory at the final race of the season. If you don't know what I mean, go and check out the League by Fox Tecker, where SimPlay Motorsport had their team car of Tannen Evone and the sponsored car of Ramsey Jimenez, Wellington's brother. There's a lot of drivers coming across the timing line here and not setting their first lap times. Dan Mike haven't set a lap time. We're waiting on now the 77 of Overtaker. We'll take a look at where all the Platinum drivers have started to filter in. Overtaker only goes 15th at the moment. The 34 of Harris is the next one to the line. And yeah, there we go. Class has invalidated his second run. But Michael Harris, look, top of the timing tower from Richie Michelle, from Class, all under 1/10 of a second. Paddy Leger. That's not the ideal line through the old hairpin, but instead of pulling over and quitting, he's decided to carry on his way. So he got on Patrick. And by the way, we're not digging at drivers. This is the banter that we have in the Discord chat and in voice chat. So don't worry. We're not digging at drivers. This is just the banter that us commentators and some of the drivers have between them. Arctic Fox, give me some outlaw commentary. Come on, Wellington. Release the voice, he says. Yeah, come on, Wellington. Get that voice going.
Well, but Mom's asleep. So I'm not going to ruin her sleep. Next thing you know, I won't get fed, now she'll have my head. In fact, I could just look up. Hold on, I could stand up and look at him for all that I remember. Yeah. Ugh.
Is he sat the other side of you?
Yeah. Have you not seen the setups
I know the
and
set. Yeah,
driver
he's
pictures?
just over the Miss Pac-Man machine you've got in between your two rigs.
Yeah. So I could stand up, give him a wave, or whenever we play the F1 game together, when I get pole into Williams by half a second, he go give me a nice little
what a
finger and
guy.
tell me that I'm number one.
Yeah, what what a guy. I love that from you. Michael.
I'm pretty sure he's laughing at the moment.
Michael Harris, half a 300th of a second quicker than Richie Michelle as he crosses the line. Doesn't improve that time around. We'll have to go again. Class still down in third place at the moment. Dan Davies still not got a valid lap time on the board yet. Sokolov down in 15th. If you look at that platinum and gold split, though, Alexandrov and Mike Matthews are the two that are splitting Hibbs Meiger from Cardno and Matt Wright. So Cardno and Matt Wright will be starting alongside each other as it stands at the moment. That could make for an interesting race going into turn one.
Yeah, and I think they'll be starting directly beside each other. Yeah.
Oh.
It won't be like a weird cutoff.
Class goes to the top of the timing screens. Brandon Williams stays in P4. What is Dan Davis about to do? Richie Michelle on an invalid lap. Dan Davis moves up to 12th place. Next car on a valid lap is that of Sokolov. I'm going to give you the best commentary of my life, Arctic Fox, because that's what we do here at SimPlay Motorsport. We don't half-arse it. Wellington's going to bring out his outlaw commentary as well, and we're going to be well away. Here comes Mike Matthews. Does he improve? No, stays where he is for the time being. Who's that behind Mike Matthews? That is the 268 of Milliston, who's back today and goes to the top of the time. He's
Paddy Leger
very
to the top.
briefly. Paddy Leger, hold the phone. But it is only qualifying. There's still a 90-minute race to go, so let's see if he can hold out.
Probably not. The garage looking real good for him.
The Villeneuve in the chat. I hope you are all well. Come on, Harris. He says in the chat, Villeneuve, thank you very much. Hope you're well, buddy. We're doing just fine here in the box. And Michael Harris then down to 4th place. Good lap from Patrick Leger, that. Good lap, because if you look now at the qualifying times, look, Dan Davis has split Cardno and Matt Wright. So Matt Wright will be starting directly behind Thomas Cardno at the moment.
Yeah, still kind of all to play for, at least with Maiga. He's, what is that, 4 positions ahead of Cardno and about 6 ahead of Matt Wright. So maybe Maiga's door is just slowly opening for a potential championship charge. But again, now Dan Davis goes up to 9th, pushes Maiga down just 1.
And he also pushes Cardno. Not on the same row as Matt Wright, but almost together out there in qualifying.
Yeah, it's still all to play for with Maiga, who's showing that his lap was just really good.
Yeah.
So I think could be a 3-way fight between Matt Wright, Tom Cardno, and Maiga.
Oh, it's Richard Beasley is the Villeneuve. Ah, well, Richard, welcome back into the chat. It's been a while, my friend. Hope you are doing extremely well then, buddy. Great to see you back in the chat. As Michael Harris crosses the line. P6 for Harris at the moment. Harris going to be trying to get that top 3 in the Platinum Championship. Great Platinum season. Let's be honest. Runner-up, unfortunately, because he was away on holiday for Donington last season in the gold standings. But what a Platinum season Michael Harris has had. Remember, he took the famous win 2 weeks ago, didn't he? When his teammate, when Patrick wasn't here, Harris took the race wing. Was it Nürburgring, I believe it was? Or was it the one after?
Suzuka.
Suzuka, that's right, the night race. Oh, by the way, if you missed last night, Wellington, chuck us the stat from last night that you gave us about night races and American drivers.
So, in the past 4 Pro-Am seasons, there have been 4 Americans to win 4 different night races at 4 different tracks. Earlier this season, we had that of Stardog win at Night Suzuka. You had myself win at Night Misano. Or sorry, that was 2 seasons ago. Last season, almost 2 seasons ago now, you had Tanner Kneebone win at Indianapolis Night, the second 90-minute race ever. You have myself at Night Misano, and I still haven't been able to find out which night race it was that Langley won, but I'm almost certain I remember him seeing win a night race.
There we go. And I'm going to add to that stat. It's not ACC, but didn't Bradley Duncan win the night race at Bahrain on LMU this year?
believe so.
So there you go.
yes.
You can add that one to your statistic as well. There you go. You're more
Well,
than
I was
welcome.
just looking at ACC, but
All right,
yeah,
fair enough.
why not?
Not just
But
ATC, that
still,
is SimPlay as a
4
whole.
consecutive seasons.
It's incredible. That Mike Matthews has just pulled the car into the pits after he's gone 7th. Here comes Class to finish his qualifying 2/10 off the pole. He'd love that extra point while Vitas is in the pit lane and cannot qualify. Here, can Class take the pole position at the very end of the session? No! Comes perilously close to taking pole, but doesn't quite get the grasp of it. And will be starting on the front row provisionally because Richie Michelle, 2.5 tenths off the pole position. Can he do anything about it? Doesn't improve. Dan Davis, 7 tenths. He moves up to P9, knocking Hibbs down the order a spot in this one. Can Sokolov jump out of the 2 gold drivers in this session? Or will Sokolov be starting behind the front 2 in gold? Stays where he is. What about Alexandrov now then? Does he have anything in the locker to maybe move up the order a little bit more? Coming towards the line is Alexandrov now. It does improve, goes up to P5, so a good lap for him. So that brings Hibbs and Miger, 1 car separating them to Cardno and Matt Wright. Overtaker moves up the order as well. Where is Michael Harris? Stays P7. And we've got the 268, that of Milliston, just under 0.2 of a second off a pole position. It's not done yet because he is a driver, is Milliston, who could definitely take pole at the very end. If Patrick gets pole, I'll eat my hat.
Well, I hope you cook that hands medium rare.
Wow, Milliston did the exact same lap time as Class in qualifying, but pole position goes the way of the retire man. Patrick Leger takes the final pro pole position of the season, but it's all to play for. Class will line up in 2nd in the Platinum Field. Vitas all the way down in 20th. As for the Gold Championship, Goudet, who is 5th in that gold standings, can still win it. Starts 16th. Behind that of Cardno and Matt Wright and Miger and Hibbs. Hibbs got the extra point to put him possibly on the back of the top 3. But either way, we will take a very quick break. Don't go anywhere because the final race of the season is coming up. Stay tuned.
Oh no, it's good.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to the finale of SimPlay Motorsport. Patrick Leger on pole position alongside champion protagonist class. Richie Michel lands up on row 2 alongside that of Alexandrov. Harris on row 3 alongside Overtaker. Mike Matthews alongside his former teammate Dan Davis on row 4. Row 5 is the gold pole sitter of Hibbs alongside that of Miga. Sokolov on row 6 alongside Tom Cardno. Row 7 is Matt Wright from John Goudet. Williams is alongside Vasic on row 8. Prestige alongside Vitas, with Piras alongside Brandon Williams and Milliston at the back. If you're wondering what has happened to Milliston and Brandon Williams, both had a disconnection from the server during the little break we had. They come back into the lobby, but it's put them at the back of the field, so work to do for them too. We're not asking who Wellington fancies for the race win this afternoon, but what we are going to ask is, are you ready for this one?
Yeah, what is it, 17, 20-some, 21 cars, is it?
Yep.
I think my screen went kind of funny because I'm on the console. But yeah, 21 cars, 90 minutes of action. Of course, not as stacked or chaotic as Pro-Am was yesterday with all the rain and having almost 30-some cars. But I still think that it's going to be a really, really good race with how close everyone is.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we're in for a really interesting night of racing. I've got a feeling that you've got the likes of Patrick Leger, who's obviously been away for the last 2 weeks on holiday. He wasn't expected or he's retired, yeah, but he wasn't expected to be back from his holiday in time to race tonight. He's not going to give a damn about the championship, is he? He's going to want to end the season with a race win for himself.
Well, I mean, we can only hope that he'll actually finish the race. So, but we'll find out in 90 minutes if he manages to do that.
That's kind of what I kind of like about this, though, Wellington, is we've got drivers on this grid who just aren't going to be bothered about the championship. They want to get as good a result as they possibly can. But we'll come back to that point in a moment, because for the final time this season, we are green and go. Class gets a much better launch than Patrick Leger already as they come down in towards turn 1. Watch for Richie Michel. Breaks a little earlier. Class still trying to look around the outside. Michel comes up the inside of Patrick, almost into the back of him. Manages to brake and get it stopped into turn 1. Patrick Leger leads, though, coming down the crane of curves. What's happened, Wellington?
Nothing. I just saw a little bit of dirt kicked off. Seems that one of the drivers ran wide, but nothing to worry about so far. A little bit wide through the old hairpin from Overtaker, but otherwise it is all clean.
Miga's got a really good start over Hibbs. He's already jumped ahead and he's got past Overtaker, who bumps Miga through Coppice, through McLean's corner as they approach towards Coppice. Dan Davis having a look on the back of Alexandrov into Coppice. There you go. Davis all over the back of the Ferrari at the moment of Alexandrov. Harris, Michel, Class and Leger have got away well out front. Overtaking going side by side with Miga coming down towards the Fogarty S's. Dan's looking every which way he can, but can't get past him into the Fogarty S as we go. For the first time of asking, it's been a great start. That is Williams going side by side with Prestige. No one can get through there. Vasic might get the run. Williams fancies a look on Milliston. Vitas and Piras have dropped to the back of the pack behind Milliston and that of Vitas as Williams. There is a spinner. That is Thomas Cardno and Damien Hibbs. Cardno's gone around at the Melbourne hairpin and the championship protagonist is off and he's down to the back of the field.
For a second, I thought that was Sam Williams, but no, it is that of Tom Cardno. So his job to win the championship has gotten about 1,000,000 times harder than what it already was. So I don't know if you could do the math on the fly, but those 7 points may have just been strung out to closer to 20, maybe. I think 20 is about right. We'll throw that on the board.
You keep talking about the action. I will work out the points at this moment. We're on board with Patrick Leger, is what the one I'm watching with Ada Clash just behind him. I'm going to drop back down to Mike Matthews, who's got ahead of Overtaker, but Overtaker's fancying a move. So I'm just going to work out the points quickly, Wellington. I'll let you just talk over what is happening at the moment.
Oh, Mike. Did Mike qualify in front of Mike And
No.
Overtaker.
No, he didn't.
So he's gotten past the two of them just within the last sector. Not seeing anything further down the grid. Vitas has already made his first stop along with Hibbs. Kind of surprised that Tom didn't pull it into the pits just to try and offset the spin.
34 points will be the difference between Cardno and Matt Wright in this championship at the moment. We'll keep our eyes on that and we'll keep you updated through that as we go along, because class needs to finish well clear of Vitas to win in the platinum category. But already dramas for the championship protagonists out front for that of Thomas Cardno. Brandon Williams now into the pit lanes. We'll give you a run through of the order after lap 2. It's Leger from class, Richie Michel from Harris, Alexandrov from Dan Davis, Maiga, your gold leader, from Mike Matthews, Overtaker from Sokolov. Then it's Matt Wright on the podium in gold once again from Milliston, Goudet from Williams, Piras from Vasic, Prestige from what would have been Brandon Williams. It's now Thomas Cardno. Then it's Vitas, who should get ahead of Brandon Williams here. This might be a tight run because Williams is actually already on towards the pit exit. And down off the limiter he comes now. Vitas will get through, Hibbs will not. So Pulsar to Damien Hibbs, not the way he'd have wanted to end this championship tonight at the moment, rolling around at the back of the field.
Yeah, just unfortunate for him, but Overtaker still looking very, very racy on the back of Mike Matthews. Try to go around the outside of Coppice, wasn't able to make that one stick. Heading through the Fire TS's, Overtaker still on the back, but good on Mike Matthews for making that probably the widest McLaren Evo. I think ever. But he runs a little bit wide.
Sorry, Wellington. Sam Williams has got ahead of John Goudet, who's been tapped by Vasic, and Goudet's around. Tapped by Vasic. Piras was on the outside of Goudet going through the Melbourne hairpin. That's exactly what Tom Cardno needs to gain onto the back of this package drivers to start really having a ding-dong fight with each other. And Cardno now on the back of John Goudet. Goudet would have wanted to end this season on a high in the Gold Championship, but now he's been spun around and he's got Thomas Cardno closing in on him.
Yeah, I wasn't able to actually see the contact. I see that Prestige is now in, but Overtaker is so close to the back of Mike Matthews. There is probably about 2 times just within the last lap that I thought he was going to spin Mike around, but just giving him a little bit of a flash of the lights, probably telling Mike to get a little hurry on, because the gap to that of Maiga now 1.6 seconds. So maybe Overtaker feels like he's just a little bit quicker.
Yep.
But again, Mike putting on a defensive masterclass.
Beto in the chat, evening, great stream last night, and comms bring on next season, not in the Aston, says Richard Betton. Stay in the Lexus, Bettison. I don't see why you'd change from that car. You've been brilliant in it all season. Cardno on the back of John Goudet, and out front, Michael Harris gaining on the rear of Richie Michel. Paddy Leger, by the way, has taken the fastest lap away from Class, but hasn't pulled away. Class is right with him. Half a second is the gap, and Patrick Leger so far doing a good job of holding on to that lead. You've got the battle then for third place. You then drop down to that of Mike and Overtaker. Mike just parking it on the apex. Mike's actually causing Sokolov and Milliston to gain onto the back of these two. Matt Wright not far behind as well. And then that of John Goudet and Thomas Cardno are duking it out for 16th and 17th place at this moment in time. But so a few battles happening all around this circuit as Cardno is going to choose to elect to come into the pit lane right now.
Yeah, that's a good strategy call. Although, as soon as he was tapped around, I probably would have thrown it down the pit lane. Ooh, Hibbs yellow flag.
Yeah, that's coming through the exit to the Fogger TS's. He's got that, so must have had an off through the Fogger TS's then. But he's back onto the circuit. And we'll see if he can try and progress through. Back on this fight, though, with Mike and Overtaker here. Overtaker just cannot find a way past Mike Matthews at the moment.
No, not at all. But I feel like the Overtaker will get desperate and might just throw a little bit of a heinous move, but so far he's just keeping cool, calm, and collected. But looking on the timing tower.
Overtaker really set one on Mike. Mike went super aggressive on the defense. He's now run deep at the hairpin. Overtaker was near enough on the grass as they tried to duke it out, coming down towards the bottom of the circuit. This could end in tears momentarily here, Wellington.
Yeah, very, very close. But I was just looking at where Cardno came out. when compared to VTAS and Williams, I still think it would have been better had he pit it as soon as he had the spin at the Melbourne hairpin, because now he's miles off the back of them.
Yeah, 9 seconds. I'm fully with you on that one. I agree. As down through the crane of curves they come once again. Overtaker still looking on the back of Mike Matthews in towards the old hairpin now. Sokolov and Milliston are having a fight just behind these two as well. Mike is not being Mike's not being dropped by Mike. In fact, he's brought the gap down. Mike, though, has Overtaker having a look up the inside at Schwantz curve. It'll become the outside for McLean's. Overtaker still can't find a way through. Mike's just parking it on the apex. Nice and easy at the moment from Matthews. Overtaker's got to do something different here as Mike defends the inside line. Milliston makes a huge lunzo in the background and gets ahead of Sokolov. So now Overtaker's going to have to deal with Milliston in a moment, who's charging forward onto the back of the Ford Mustang. He will go now. And Sam Williams, Tom Cardno's teammate, is gaining on that of Mathew Wright in this race. That is not what Matt Wright would have wanted, but it's what the cards have been dealt for him. As down towards the hairpin we go once more. Hard onto the brakes goes Mike and Overtaker. And Mike's actually gained a little bit over Miger, it looked like, under the brake in there.
I mean, we'll see when the timing tower updates, but the McLaren has just Overtaker almost into the back of him. That's going to open up the door for that of Milliston. Not at the moment, but Milliston so far this season has been absolutely rapid.
Yeah.
No matter the conditions, it seems. Oh, just taps the back of Overtaker, Milliston. And now Overtaker off.
Yeah, off.
And turn one and into the wall.
I don't think he touched the wall quite, Beef. He might have done. I'm not quite sure. But, yeah, he's off. He's dropped all the way behind that of Vasic. So that has given the likes of Matt Wright, Williams, Sokolov, Milliston, Piras and Vasic in extra place here. So already dramas out front. Sokolov trying to stay to the back of Milliston. Class with Richie Michel now fastest man on the circuit. Class within 6/10 of Patrick Leger. So he's brought the gap down a couple of tenths here. But Patrick Leger doing the job he needs to do out front. 10 minutes into this 1.5 hour race. And the Ford Mustang driver out front doing exactly what he needs to do. Milliston has got Sokolov within half a second still, but look further back. Matt Wright coming under pressure from Thomas Cardno's teammate, that of Sam Williams here. This could have massive repercussions in this championship. Sam will want a podium. Not had many podiums in gold this year since coming up from Pro-Am last season. Would love to take another podium. Currently sat third place in gold, but would love to try and get as close to the top step of it as he can.
Yeah, even a P2 for him will be really, really good. Had a good outing last season in Pro-Am, just not able to win the championship from what I remember. It's been
wheel issues, I think.
Been a hot second.
Wheel issues plagued him last season. He had I think it was two bad scores here because of wheel issues as well. So, yeah, not the season he would have wanted it to end. But he's got the chance to right some wrongs at Donington Park based off of last season, and he'll want to try and get ahead of Matt Wright to try and help his teammate Tom Cardno out as much as possible.
Yeah, try and act as a little bit of a pick for Tom to slowly close in if he could kind of park Matt Wright.
Interesting not to see, by the way, Matt Wright and Dan Davis have deployed the tactic of pitting early in the race as the sessions have gone on. They haven't done that tonight. We've seen the strategies work for them quite well in recent 90-minute races, haven't we, Beef? Where they've both boxed early and then they've came out and their second stops has gone a little bit longer into the race and they've got themselves firmly into the top 10. Remember, for Team SPR and for SimPlay Racing, they are both fighting for the constructors as well. So Mike, Matt, Leger, Harris, and the Greasy Bandits team of Hibbs and Class all need a good race over the Balkan esports team, I believe it is. Drive through for Overtaker track limits already. So 10 minutes in, and Overtaker's race goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, he kept running a little bit wide in the old hairpin, but I don't know if it was close enough to warrant a track limit warning. But the Fire TS's, you take about a hair's width too much and kind of you got the little pop-up on your screen.
Sam Williams, by the way, has passed Mathew Wright. So Sam Williams has moved up into 11th place and has got himself ahead of Matt Wright. It's only a short pit lane here, so it's not a long drive through, but here comes Brandon Williams and that of Vitas. Williams, will he get ahead of Overtaker? Yes, he will. But Overtaker, who's still got 2 stops to make, will obviously fall behind that of Thomas Cardno. Hibbs will want to come back through the field as best he can for that Constructors' Championship, as Maiga now gaining on the back of Dan, but has got Milliston, who's got ahead of Mike, and Sokolov, all close company behind that of Dan Davis. Alexandrov on the rear of Michael Harris here. So championship ramifications up for grabs in that team's championship as well as the drivers. So a lot can happen. And if you look at the Greasy Bandits, you've got 1 20th and 1 second. If you look at the Balkan Esports, you've got Vitas 16th and Sokolov in 10th. If you look at Team SPR, they're sitting the prettiest of them all at the moment, 1st and 4th with the fastest lap.
Yeah, that's definitely going to help that of Team SPR. But I think once Vitas gets into the top 10 and once he gets back up to the top 10 and past all the gold drivers, I think he'll kind of have the McLaren fired up to slowly work his way back to the top of the grid.
Yeah, I agree. Milliston gaining on Maiga. Further down the order, Matt Wright's trying to stick with Sam. Vasic and Piras not quite near at the moment. Overtakers on the rear of Williams, who's only a second off the back of Vitas. Vitas 11 seconds now from John Goudet. Remember, Vitas has done one of his 2 stops already, as has Williams, Cardno, Hibbs and Prestige. So we'll see what's going to happen. Wheel issues and running out of fuel issues, if I remember rightly, says Neil Broom. Yeah, that was Sam's issues last season. That's how Argent won one of the races last year when Sam ran out of fuel was running out of fuel towards the end. He had to box again. But Harris coming under pressure now from Alexandrov. And if you look at Patrick Leger, look, almost got 2 seconds to class already. So Patrick Leger is on fire at the moment.
Man, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I think we are both very, very surprised by this.
Yeah. I'd have given him at least another 15 more minutes, but while he's doing well, I think he's going to continue. Look, it'd be as much stick as we give Patrick Leger. It's going to be good to see him on the top step of the podium. Prestige parks it at turn 1, allowing the leaders to come through. Milliston is right on the rear of Maiga now as they head down towards Redgate Corner. Milliston, who's looked incredibly quick, did go into the back of Overtaker at Redgate. Now he gets the undercut on Maiga here. Maiga needed as many points between him and Matt Wright as possible, and Maiga drops down to 8th place. Milliston moves himself ahead another spot then, and Milliston will be next on the back of Dan Davis. That's his next target. But what a start to this race. Maiga wide, little wiggly over the old hairpin curb on the exit. That's allowed Mike Matthews now to creep onto the rear of him.
Yeah, I wonder if Maiga's just going to let Mike go, considering they're in 2 separate classes, albeit they are fighting for overall positions. But Maiga has such a gap to that of Williams, who had just gone through McLean's, and Mike is already through onto the SimPlay straight.
The problem is, though, Beef, is Maiga needs all the points he can get, so he needs to keep Platinum drivers between himself of that and Matt Wright at the moment.
But the only thing that, at least in my head, if you keep trying to defend from the Platinum drivers who are quicker than you, you're probably going to force yourself into a mistake
100%.
And dig yourself a deeper hole.
Yep, completely agree. At this stage of the race, yes. I think if it's towards the end of the race, you sort of try and defend for your life, don't you? And try and hang on to every position you could possibly take.
Oh, yeah, easily. But he still has a huge gap to his fellow gold drivers.
Well, let's see what's going to happen as this race continues on here then at Donington Park, the home of SimPlay Motorsport on ACC. We've got our first ever home of Daytona back on LMU, and that is on the calendar for LMU next season. Calendar will be coming out. We've not quite fully confirmed some details yet for the calendar for Season 12. So the calendar will be coming out on our social medias of Facebook, X and Instagram. Keep your eyes peeled for that one, as well as obviously in the Discord as well. So make sure you stick around to keep your eyes on that calendar for Season 12. Some really good tracks on that calendar and a potential exciting final race of the season at Donington Park to end SimPlay season number 12. That is the discussion at the moment. Matt Wright's brought the gap back down to 3/10 to Sam Williams. So Sam's got ahead, but hasn't been able to pull away from Matt Wright. He's allowed Matt Wright to get back onto the rear of him.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun fight between the two of them. as far as I remember, they're in the same voice chat, so there could be some sort of team orders in air quotes. Maybe Sam is gonna help bring Righty along to that of Micah to get as many team points as they need, or there could just be a brawl between the two of them, but maybe even Sam is going to try and hold up Righty as much as possible to allow Tom to slowly close in.
Yeah, indeed. Milliston, by the way, is all over the back of Dan, or was through Redgate corner. So Dan coming under pressure from Milliston now. Patrick Leger, by the way, 3 seconds clear of Class at the moment. So if Class wanted to win this race, he's got a tough job to do. Beef, I'll just let you take over a second. I'm just going to work out the platinum points as it stands at the minute.
Will do. Milliston still looking on the back of Davis. Matthews closing in to Micah, but I think this might be the closest actual fight.
Ooh.
Yes.
As it stands at the moment, Class would win platinum by 3 points. If it finishes the way it is now, Class would win it by 3 points. So it is incredibly tight out there at the moment.
Means that Vitas needs to get a little bit of a move on.
Yeah, he does indeed. Micah coming under pressure from Matt Wright and that of Sokolov as they come in
Yellow
towards...
flag for Pires.
Oh,
he's returned to pits.
I think he's retired. I think that is a retirement for Piras.
Yes.
That will be 5 retirements in a row for Piras. So, yeah. That will, that will possibly cost him a few points in penalty points there. Then it'll drop him behind the court for that 10th position in this championship. But 5 retirements for Piras. Battle for third raging on as well now. Look, Alexandrov Harris gaining on Richie Michelle. You've got the fight of Milliston, who was just looking up the inside of Dan through McLean's. Couldn't get the move done. So Milliston backed out of that one. You've then got Micah under pressure from Mike and Sokolov. You've got Matt Wright still on the rear of Sam Williams. You've got Overtaker within half a second of Brandon Williams. And that, crucially, gives Vitas an extra couple of points. And Thomas Cardno here. And we've lost somebody else. Who else have we lost? We've lost Prestige. So Prestige is retired as well. So, yeah. So Prestige was already behind Cardno, but Piras was ahead of Cardno. And Vitas drive-through for Micah.
Oh, drive-through for Micah.
Oh, so he's got track limit. So 2 drive-throughs in 21 minutes of racing here.
I'm kind of surprised by that. I don't think that Micah needed to push as hard as he was. But that... I'll have to see. But if he's with the drive-through, that might make Sam Williams the gold leader of this race.
It might do for the time being. Milliston attacking the outside of Dan Davis. Can't get through at turn number 1. Looking to tuck underneath through Hollywood to into the Craner curves. They now go. Milliston all over the back of Dan trying to make a move. Micah did not come into the pit lane. And this is keeping Mike Matthews and Sokolov at bay for the time being. So far for these drivers, they are staying as they was at the moment. But Micah has that drive-through penalty to come. Dan Davis, though, Milliston, what pace he's had. He's come from the back of the grid. So he got disconnected in that little break we was having. And he got put to the back of the grid. He's charged through the field and he's right on the back of Dan Davis now.
Yeah, and he's been helped by a couple of incidents here and there. I can't even say the disconnects, because they happen behind him.
Yep.
But his pace, like it has the entire season, extremely, extremely quick, no matter the track, the conditions, it seems. But now he just has to get past Dan Davis, and Dan isn't going to let any position go.
No.
He'll fight tooth and nail for, I mean, even if it's second from last. He'll still give it everything that he has as Mike is now in to serve his drive-through.
So that will release Mike Matthews and Sokolov. Here comes Sam Williams and Matt Wright. Matt Wright's on the rear of Sam Williams. This will put Sam Williams, we said, didn't we, he wants to right some wrongs at Donington Park. Well, he's back onto the top step of the podium in gold at Donington. Matt Wright just behind him. Where is Vasic? Vasic will also get Miger. John Goudet will not. But Goudet's coming under pressure from Vitas with Williams. Overtake has dropped 5 seconds off the back of Brandon Williams, so he's had a moment somewhere. So for Tom Cardno, not what he wanted, because Matt Wright gains an extra place with Miger getting the drive-through penalty. Milliston, though, creeping all over the back of Dan still. And at the minute, it's looking quite well. Richie Michel's within 7/10 at the moment of Class here as well, I've just noticed. So Class doesn't seem to have the pace he had here the other season, and is over 3 seconds behind Patrick Leger, and he's coming under pressure from that of Richie Michel at the moment. Harris under pressure from Alexandrov, Dan under pressure from Milliston, and Mike under pressure from Sokolov in this race. So battles no matter where you look at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think a little bit more battling than Pro-Am last night.
Yeah.
But again, we had the equalizer of all drivers, rain. Unless you play iRacing, there's always one guy who's like 5 seconds quicker than everyone else. Ask me how I know.
Well, let's see what will happen in this race then as we still progress on further forward throughout tonight's racing. It's been a great start to the race here at Donington Park, and you have to say Patrick Leger, the man who looks like he's got it absolutely nailed as it stands at the moment, and Matt Wright looking pretty good to win that gold championship then. What's happening between Harris and Alexandrov? Not a lot at the moment. Milliston still behind Dan Davis. Sokolov, now that Mike's been cleared of Miger, Sokolov has just dropped a little bit further back behind Mike, so Mike just able to use that little bit extra pace to pull away in this one. Williams has pulled away from Matt Wright slightly further down the field. Vitas within 1.5 seconds of John Goudet. Williams 1.6 behind Vitas. Hibbs just not able to close in at the moment. He's got to hope that early pit stop strategy is going to work for him.
You were talking about that of Hibbs?
Yes.
Was it? I mean, he's kind of in no man's land, but he does have all of the clean air. Only downside is that he's in a Honda, which is...
Whoa.
Sorry, it likes biting.
Sorry. Oh, Milliston side by side with Dan into the final corner. He's on the outside line. Backs out of it and tucks back behind Dan Davis then. So Dan under immense pressure at the moment. And is this fight between these two going to start to invite Mike Matthews? Mike's 4 seconds off the back of him. But the more these two start to squabble, is this going to invite Mike Matthews back into play here? Alexandrov cannot get any closer to Michael Harris at the moment. And this, the closest fight on the track, Dan and Milliston, who are absolutely duking it out there. Oh, yeah. Milliston in into the back of Dan. John Goudet coming down the start-finish straight. Vitas within a second now of Goudet. Now, John runs a little wide through the exit of turn 1, as did Brandon Williams there. So, yeah, interesting to see from them two. Vitas now getting closer. Vitas needs every point he can get. No, that's Miger off. Miger's around. Miger has dropped in at the old hairpin, so John moves up another place, and so does Vitas. Vitas will be looking to try and get past John Goudet now as well. Vitas has already pitted. Goudet couldn't close the door, and Vitas gets John Goudet. So Vitas moves up yet another spot. This is all helping him in this Drivers' Championship at the moment.
Yeah, this is exactly what Vitas needed, just for a couple of drivers to make mistakes that allows him to get, I mean, dare I say, 3 points? Just at the cost of other drivers. But slowly closing in the gap to that of Class, who's still running up in P2. Brandon Williams down the inside of John Goudet. Goudet tries to look back up the inside. But Brandon Williams is through.
Goudet just struggling out there at the moment. It seems just no pace from John in this race today in the Bentley. So just struggling to get anything done. Remember now he's been overtaken by 2 drivers who have both pitted. Now Next on the list will be Thomas Cardno, who's already pitted as well. So we'll see what will happen there. Milliston still all over the back of Dan Davis. Richie Michel back within a second of Class. Alexandrov right up the rear of Michael Harris. Nearly into the boot of Michael Harris there. And gets a poor run through the chicane as a cost of that one. So Alexandrov there just cost himself a little bit of time. Mike's pulled to a second now over Sokolov. And Matt Wright doing what he needs to do at the moment, but he's still got to make his 2 pit stops. This is going to be interesting to see who pits where.
Yes, only about 28 minutes in, and very, very few drivers have done their first stop as compared to a regular Pro-Am race where you'll find about half the grid has already done their first stop within the first 30 minutes or so.
Well, even by now, we're seeing drivers pitting in the Pro Series, but we've had a lot less pit stops than usual out there. So, yeah, going to be interesting to keep our eyes on in this race at the moment. But everything going the way in gold for Matt Wright. In platinum, it's a different story because I believe now Vitas will win the championship by a handful of points himself. So, different story there. And could take the platinum honours in this last race. Class needs to get to Patrick Leger to score some extra points. And maybe also might need to take that fastest lap away from him. So that's something that Class might want to start looking at as this race develops on. But Class, 3.3 behind Leger, and has got Richie Michel within 0.8 of a second now. Richie Michel trying to end his season on an absolute positive. Michel's grown as this season's gone on. He seems to have got a bit better as this season's gone on.
Yeah, a lot more relaxed, but I think he wants to follow up on what his brother did yesterday, taking the win here at Donington Park. So if he could maybe find his way onto the podium, that'll be a decent outing for the two of them this week.
It will indeed. Milliston's got past Dan Davis at the Melbourne hairpin. There was a little contact between the two. Dan now trying to come back at Milliston, but can't do so. So Milliston now up into 6th place. And what is he going to be behind Alexandrov? How quick will he get onto the back of them? 12 seconds is the gap in this one at the moment in time. So we'll see what happens here. In this race then, at this moment in time then, for that of Dan Davis. Alexandrov back within 0.8 of a second of Harris. And Michel's just closed that gap to Class just a little bit more.
Yeah, just slowly reeling in Class. I mean, the only thing I could say is that he's just struggling out there. Maybe it's the temperature kind of on the cooler side. Maybe it's a setup thing. Maybe that one's just quicker over like a short run as compared to a long run. And that's about all that I could really think of.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what could be the issues in this race. But you're right at the moment, Beef. Class just doesn't have the pace. Richie Michel does at this stage of the race. Dan trying to come back at Milliston. Can't do so. Mike has got the gap down under 4 seconds to these two. So he's starting to come on them. And he's pulled 2 seconds over Sokolov. Matt Wright's been sat at this sort of gap to Sam Williams, hasn't he? Since Sam Williams has got past. But Wrighty just doesn't seem to have the pace to pass him. Maiger coming under pressure now from Overtaker down towards the Fogarty S's. Cardno 12 seconds back on this. So Cardno doesn't have the paces. Here comes Overtaker up the inside. Maiger goes wide. Overtaker cuts the chicane. These two have both had drive-throughs, remember. Probably at the Fogarty S's as well. Still side by side they go. Overtaker cuts across the nose of Maiger there. Little bit of a chop to shut the door. Runs deep. Maiger comes back underneath on that of Overtaker. Trying to get alongside, but Overtaker will have that inside line going in towards McLean's. And does manage to keep hold of that move, although Maiger's going to try and come back underneath him. Can't do so there. Gap out front as well. Class has dropped the gap down to 2.4. Now it's 2.6 seconds. So has Leger made a mistake somewhere?
Oh no, I've clicked the menu button. Oh. Maybe Patty made a mistake, or maybe his tires are slowly hitting a bit of a drop-off phase. But now it seems that there's quite a gap between Class and Michel.
Yeah, 1.4. That's what's confusing me at the moment. Did Class just have a really good lap compared to Richie Michel and that of Patrick Leger? And that's what's closed the gap to Leger, but opened the door to that of Richie Michel here then. But either way, I'm sure Class will be still trying his absolute hardest to close that gap. He'll know what he needs to do to win this championship. He'll know where he needs to finish. And he'll want to be chasing after Leger. But Leger, once again, has opened that gap up another 2/10. So Patrick Leger at the moment, he seems in control of this race to me, does Patrick so far. Seems really in control of this race.
Yeah, all he has to do is just not hit the pause button and hit return to garage. And I think he should be good, at least for this first stint. We'll see in the second and third stint where he comes out and just how everything filters. But yeah, commanding race lead, only 2.8 in front of Class.
Alexandrov gaining onto the rear of Michael Harris once again. So we'll see what Alexandrov can do this time around, because he got close to Harris once before, but nearly ended up in the back of him and then had to cost himself a Milliston drive-through penalty for track limits. So we are 34 minutes into this race and we've had 3 drive-through penalties. I don't recall that many last night at all in the Pro-Ams, but obviously it was wet, so the track limits that little bit further out, but already in 34 minutes, 3 drive-through penalties, and Milliston straight in to get it served. That'll give Mike Matthews extra points for the team's championship. It'll give Sokolov extra points for the team's championship. Can Matt Wright, though, get ahead of Milliston while he's in the pit lane?
Gonna be close. Milliston's about halfway down the pits. And I just hear Matt Wright in the back.
Yeah, through he goes.
Through.
Yeah. So through he goes now then. So Matt Wright through over that of Milliston. So he moves up yet another spot. And that's 1, good for the SimPlay Racing team in terms of the constructors. But 2, even better for him in terms of the Gold Drivers' Championship. As Overtaker is in for his first stop. Now this will give Cardno that extra couple of points that Matt Wright has just got. This will give Cardno them straight back because he's going to jump Overtaker in the pits. And as for Greasy Bandits in terms of the Constructors' Championship, Hibbs will also gain a couple of points here as well. So that's good for them in terms of this Constructors' fight also. So we'll see what's happening there. Your closest fight on circuit, though, is that of Michael Harris and Alexandrov for 4th and 5th place, in which Harris, for Team SPR, will be wanting to score as many points as he can for the Constructors' Championship, especially while Balkan Esports aren't having necessarily the greatest of days at the moment.
Yeah, Vitas still down in 13th and Sokolov in 8th. So it's gonna, if the race were to end right now, it'll be a huge points gain for Team SPR. But if Harris could find a way to maybe close into that of Richie Michel, maybe even get past him, again, just going to add to the points takeaway that they're going to have today. But just not finding anything in that Lexus to get closer. Maybe he's just trying to maintain his tires because he might double stint these.
Well,
but
sorry, just looking at the last lap times, Harris was a 10th slower than Richie, but a 10th quicker than Class. So the top 4 all lapping pretty much the same. Alexandrov and Patrick Leger, the only 2 in the 27.4s. Mike Matthews was actually quicker than Class, Michel and Harris as well last time around, and was quicker than Dan Davis. So keep your eyes on a few of them through the field. The quickest person on track at the moment, Brandon Williams, with a 27.3. But, in fact, he's on the back of Vitas, who's got ahead of Vasic now. So Vitas climbs up another position. And Vasic now coming under pressure from Brandon Williams. But you have to say that this is going in the favour of Vitas for the Platinum Championship at the moment, because he is starting to carve his way through a couple more places. Milliston's on the rear of Matt Wright also, with Matt Wright on the rear of Sam Williams then. So Williams leads in gold from Matt Wright, but Wright's got Milliston here. What's Matt Wright best off doing? Is he best off letting Milliston just go instead of losing too much time to Cardno when Matt Wright inevitably comes into the pit lane?
Yeah, I do think it is better just to let Milliston go. Maybe he Well, Milliston's going to come straight in.
There we go then. So he doesn't need to let Milliston go. Vasic and Williams duking it outside. Up the inside goes Williams into the Goddard's hairpin. Contact between the pair of them. Vasic gets pushed out wide. Williams keeps hold of the position for the time being, but Vasic will have that inside line coming down in towards Redgate. We've still got 52 minutes of racing. Vasic breaks early. Williams gets the place round the outside. Vasic tries to get the exit but can't do so. So Williams moves up another place. Matt Wright so close to the back of that of Sam Williams. Alexandrov keeping the pressure tightly on that of Michael Harris at the moment. But we've got a real good race on our hands so far, Wellington, in which the championships still are up for grabs. And Tom Cardno has got past Milliston here. So Cardno has got ahead of Milliston. What about Hibbs? Hibbs does as well. So crucial for Cardno and crucial for Greasy Bandits Racing in the Teams Championship. These championships are chopping and changing every second of every lap at the moment, Beef.
Yeah, but this... At the end of the day, this is
Matt
what we
Wright's
love
past
to see
Williams.
a championship.
Sorry, Matt Wright's past Sam Williams at the Foggy S's. It looked like Sam was slow. So was there contact between the two? Did Sam get a horrible run through the chicane? But Matt Wright moves up into 9th place now.
Oh, Alexandrov in for his first stop. Probably to try and undercut that of Harris as they were kind of...
Yeah.
Nose to bumper, but Matt Wright back ahead of Sam Williams,
which could be huge. Could be huge in this championship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Gives Wright just a little bit of pocket change worth of extra points, but Tom's still way down the order.
Tom in for his second and final stop of the race here then. Cardno is thinking, I'm within the hour and I'm going to get my last stop out the way, so I'm now just going to go to the very end. I kind of like that from Tom. We know there's no rain forecast in this race, Wellington, so I kind of like that from Cardno because he's basically now saying to everybody else, I've done my stops. You've got to get to the end. Wrighty's not yet done his pit stop. Now, where is Matt Wright out there on the circuit? As Gouda's within 0.8 of a second
just now heading into
Micah.
the Melbourne hairpin.
So if Matt Wright gets ahead of Cardno here, Cardno's a lap down. If he's quicker than Wright, he is able to unlap himself, but needs to do it cleanly and needs to be able to pull away. If he can't pull away, he'll have to eventually yield that time back to Matt Wright. Cardno's on his way out now. Matt Wright's just exited the final corner. Is Cardno going to come out the pits before Matt Wright gets there? No, he is not. Matt Wright has just put a lap on Thomas Cardno. Now, Sam Williams, I don't think he's going to look to lap his teammate here. I think he's going to try and allow Cardno the opportunity to unlap himself from Matt Wright and pull away, but that is huge. Yes, Matt Wright has 2 pit stops to do, but that is absolutely massive in terms of the gold standards. John Goudet into the pits now.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Sam is kicking himself for maybe he made a mistake that allowed Wright back past, but I think Sam would have loved to have been in front of Wright so that way he could slow Wrighty down and allow Tom back past.
Yep.
But I just saw, it seems that Tom still has a little bit of rear end damage that he didn't repair.
Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's just not bad enough.
Maybe it's not damaging his lap times too much in this race, so we'll keep our eyes on that. Goudet in for his first stop. Hibbs is doing a Tom Cardno and he's getting his last pit stop out the way now, and that could be huge for Greasy Bandits. Tom goes really deep at the Melbourne hairpin. Sam not going to attack his teammate too much in terms of putting the lap on him, but Hibbs now going to follow Cardno through. Is Hibbs going to get out the pits before Cardno? I'm going to say no because Tom's already exiting the final hairpin. Hibbs is yet to go green and Cardno just on the grass, so if he wants to unlap himself from Matt Wright, he needs to stay as close to Wright because when Wright does his 2 pit stops, he needs to make sure he can get the jump on Matt Wright when he does them. Hibbs out the pit, so Hibbs back down to 19th place. If you're talking in terms of that constructors fight, Team SBR are the team to keep your eye on at the moment, but Balkan Esports as well, 2nd and 7th, so it's almost going to guarantee them that constructors championship so far. Sorry, 7th and 10th, because 2nd is the Greasy Bandits car of class.
Yeah. So who would win that? Would it be Balkan Esport?
Believe so, yeah. Believe so at the moment, because they are quite clear of the rest. 157. No, wait.
Oh, we've lost somebody else I've just seen.
We have.
Down to 18.
Milliston.
Yeah.
Disconnection for Milliston. So this is just going to narrow the points for Vitas to...
Oh, Goudet in for his second stop.
Okay. Interesting. That could effectively as well, by the way, if Milliston can't get back in, that could give Harris P3 in the championship here, and possibly Richie Michelle P4. Might also give Mike P5 in the championship.
Yeah. I think Michael really, really want to have the P5 in the championship, and Harris, you said P3?
Yep. Goudet loses out to Cardno. So John Goudet loses out to Tom Cardno. And him, Hibbs, and Goudet, Cardno and Hibbs have all done their 2 stops. Vasic in, Williams in, Sokolov in. Now, John Goudet obviously being Greasy Bandit's owner, will he allow Hibbs through for that them constructors' points? I wonder in this race to try and secure that. The race for P2 in the constructors is really close. Greasy Bandit's on 1,394. 17 points behind is SimPlay Racing, in which Matt Wright and Mike Matthews. Matt Wright is 7th, Mike Matthews is 6th. I wasn't going to say it the other round because I'm not going to make another joke. But then some 70-odd points behind is Team SPR, and they're 1st and 4th with fastest lap. So you have to say at the moment, Team SPR look like they could take 2nd, and they're the ones to really challenge Balkan Esports. 153 points it is to Greasy Bandits to Balkan Esports, 170 SimPlay Racing to Balkan Esports, and 238 Team SPR to Balkan Esports. But I don't know if it's going to be enough with Balkan Vitas in 8th and Sokolov down in 12th after their first stops. But they've all got to pit again. Goudet on the rear of Sam Williams. Closest fight on the circuit at the moment. Sorry, on the rear of Tom Cardno, not Sam Williams, apologies. And who is left to pit? Miger's still got to do 2 stops. Matt Wright and the top 7 have got to do 2 stops as well. As Brandon Williams in for his final stop of the day.
Yeah, good call from Williams. Kind of in just nothing but clean air. And I think after this second stop, he'll come out. Well, it actually might be a little bit of traffic, as Patrick Leger is just now coming out to the final corner with one of the Ferraris up ahead. I believe that's Sokolov. Oh no, Patrick's in for his stop. Guess wants to maybe try and undercut, extend the gap between class. Richie Michelle is in as well. Does Dan Davis pass? He's just now coming up to the final corner.
So Class takes the lead of this race. What does Dan Davis do? What does Mike Matthews do as well? Dan's going to stay out. Brandon Williams has just come out the pits from doing his final stop. So where was Tom Cardno? Nowhere near Brandon Williams. Hibbs is gaining on the rear of John Goudet here, and I feel this might be the case of... I say fear. This might be the case of Greasy Bandits team owner John Goudet allowing the Greasy Bandits team car of Damien Hibbs through for that constructors. You can't blame John Goudet. He wants his team to obviously do as well as they can, and they're gaining on that of the leaders. Patrick Leger coming out the pits just behind this traffic, but Mike also stayed out on track. Matt Wright has also stayed out on track, so Matt Wright going long. What will Miger do in terms of making his first stop? We're about halfway through this race. Miger is into the pit lane now. So Leger out, Richie Michelle out, Harris out on track, Vitas coming out anytime now. Here comes Alexandrov, gets ahead of Vitas. Vitas not moving in the box. He's gone to number 1. And I would be expecting him to move here, but he is not moving in the pit lane at the moment. Here comes Sokolov. Then, as into the pits comes Class now. Vitas still not away. Sam Williams will be about to come and pass out of Vitas in a moment. Oh, no, Vitas, sorry. Apologies. Vitas had already done one of his stops. So he's now finished his final stop. And is he going to lose out to Sam Williams? Yes, he is. So Sam Williams gets himself up yet another position, but he's ahead of Vitas, who's done both stops, and Vitas going to attack him. Coming into Hollywood, down the Craner curve, side by side they go. Vitas backs out of that one, does he? Going to still look for this on Sam Williams, into the old hairpin. Williams gives him the space. Vitas tries to get the run through. They don't make contact at the moment, and Vitas tucks back in behind. What a bit of racing that was at Donington Park.
Vitas just now giving him a little flash of the lights. Either maybe he thought that Sam was just going to let him go, but I think Sam's going to give it all that he has.
Yep.
Maybe allow his teammate of Tom Cardno just to catch up a bit. But yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to let Vitas through.
It does not at all in this one, rightly so. Fight for every position. Goudet has lost out to Damien Hibbs now. Patrick Leger re-leads this race, and Richie Michel is side by side with Class down the Craner curves, and Richie Michel jumps Class in the pits. So Class down to third place. That will hurt his championship in Platinum. It will hurt Greasy Bandits in the team standings as well. Harris stays fourth. Alexandrov stays fifth. Dan Davis is sixth, Mike is seventh. Where is Matt Wright? He's lost out to Sokolov. Matt Wright has just come out the pits, but well clear of Sam Williams. So Matt Wright is running ninth place. And oh my days, what a race this is turning into. Brandon Williams has got ahead of Vasic. Vitas, though, still cannot pass out of Sam Williams at the moment. Looking once more, sorry Beef, looking at the Craner curves once again. They did this last time around. Vitas has a bit more of a car up the inside into the old hairpin. Williams can do nothing about it. Vitas with a great move. Up the inside he goes, moves back up into 10th place.
Now Sam has to maybe consider just going ahead and knocking out his second stop, because they're just now coming up to that of anyways, righties all the way down the SimPlay straight, almost just about the entire straight ahead of Sam Williams. So maybe Williams could try and undercut him, just fuel up and go for the next 40 minutes.
M4 curb, this is sick, he says in the virtual Grand Slam. These drivers are so fast. Indeed they are. Mike has just done his second stop of the race. It's Cardno's past him, Hibbs past him, and Goudet past him. So crucial that in this race at the moment. 77.
Drive-through for Overtaker.
That's his second drive-through of the race here, Beef. Crazy.
Well, at least it's not Mizano. Probably would have seen the entire timing tower lit up.
I remember we did a fun event at Mizano, and Rob Ramsell had about 7 drive-throughs in that race we did there. Ford versus Ferrari at Mizano we did, and Ramsell a few seasons back, it was only a fun event, but had a hefty amount of drive-through penalties on that fun event, as Richie Michel would love to try and get... Patrick Leger now, look, 6.7 seconds clear of these two. So what a gap for Patrick Leger to be in.
Yeah, it seems that all the slander that we've given him over the past couple of weeks while he wasn't able to defend himself kind of paid off. Seems like he's driving with a little bit of fire in his eyes.
Good. Using at his fuel. To overtake his drive-through, by the way, he's at McLean's. Cardno's at Old Hairpin. This could give Cardno and Hibbs extra places, not only for the Gold Championship, but for Hibbs as well, for that Teams Championship, to stay second place in this one, because it's going to be tough for Greasy Bandits to win it with Balkan Esports outscoring at least one of the drivers. So this is going to be good for Hibbs with Overtaker, 1 pit stop left to go, and has that second drive-through.
Yeah, it's definitely going to spice it up a little bit. But if Tom could maybe drive just a pinch faster, or just ink out a little bit more lap time, he'll for sure get ahead of Overtaker. And I don't know how many warnings some of the other cars are on, like Sam Williams or drive-through for Goudet.
Or John Goudet, for that matter, because he's just picked up a drive-through now. Don't forget, if you are new to SimPlay Motorsport, hit that thumbs-up button if you like what we see here. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit the bell to be notified, as well as checking out the description below for our fantastic sponsor and partner, that of Designed Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser-engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more. Head over to Facebook and search Designed Manchester there. Goudet in for his drive-through. Class still on the rear of Richie Michel. And Overtaker's done his drive-through. And Overtaker did come out behind Tom Cardno and behind Damien Hibbs. So crucial there for him. Williams hasn't been dropped by Vitas. And Clash just cannot get close enough to get past Richie Michel here. This is allowing Patrick Leger to pull even further clear, by the way.
Yeah, almost 7 seconds the gap that Patty Leger has over Michel in Class. But Class just doesn't seem to have that McLaren fired up like he did in past seasons.
Yeah, completely agree with you.
Maybe he's had a change on the setup that is just making the car feel a little bit different than what he's used to. Or it could just be his outright pace.
Overtaker lets Patrick Leger put the lap on him. So he's got one more pit stop to do and is down at the back of the field is Overtaker in this race. As Richie Michel driving really well at this moment in time. And is keeping one of the Platinum Championship protagonists at bay. Remember, if you all knew, points are scored for overall position. Question I want to know is, when does Matty Wright come in for his second and final stop? Is he going to do it at the very end of this race and just splash and dash the car? That's going to be the biggest question, I think, to figure out here, Wellington. But he's got a lot of time over Thomas Cardno. Cardno's just gone through turn 1. Matt Wright's on the SimPlay straight. So if it is just a splash and dash, he should have the gap to Thomas Cardno to, you know, keep that at bay.
Yeah, Cardno just now going through the old hairpin. So Righty has about half a lap on him and quite a big gap to that of Sam Williams. So if I was Righty, I would just go ahead and pit right now because he might come out just behind that of Vasich, but all of that is clean air for him to use to probably get a bigger gap over Sam Williams once Sam pits.
Overtaker went off at the old hairpin. Richie Michel and Class now all over the back of him. Overtaker staying to the left-hand side of the circuit. Is this going to allow Richie Michel the chance to come through? And Class, yes, it does. So Overtaker's now down to them two. He's still ahead of Migra and Goudet, but still has that final stop to make. And here comes this now of Class. Is he going to think of sending one into the Melbourne hairpin? No, he is not. And stays patiently behind. This is the closest fight on circuit at the moment. Richie Michel run wide out of Melbourne onto the grass a little bit. We'll have the inside line for Goddard, though. That's his only saving grace here. And Richie Michel looking up the inside does just stay ahead. Class trying to tuck underneath and get the better exit, but once again it would have given Richie Michel the inside line coming down towards Redgate Corner. And Matthias Class here just trying everywhere he can to have a look, but Patrick Leger is 8 seconds out front. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, it's now. Patty has just about checked out. They're coming through the Craner curves right now, and Patty Leger is already a handful of corners in front of them. So as long as Patty doesn't make a mistake or retire, he should have this in the bag.
Well, let's see what will happen then as this race rages on. 34 minutes left to go. And we'll see what happens for Class and Richie Michel. But Vitas is inside the top 10. He's only 3 seconds off the back of Matt Wright. And Matt Wright's still got one more stop to make. So you'd fancy Vitas to make up yet another position in this race, which, in the battle of constructors between Balkan Esports and SimPlay Racing, would help Balkan Esports out. They'd have two cars beating at least one of the SimPlay Racing cars there then. So it'd be down to that of Mike Matthews. In fact, where's Sokolov? Yeah, because Sokolov's ahead of Mike Matthews at the moment.
Yeah, so I feel like most of the championships are set in stone, but still just keeping our eyes peeled on just second place in the team's championship. It seems that Vitas has just about taken care of the Platinum Championship, and Righty has just about taken care of the Gold Championship.
And I think Balkan Esports
still
have done enough to win that team's championship as well.
So yeah, it's just second place in the team's championship. That's all to play for with 33 minutes left.
Class having a look at Richie Michelle once again. Can't do anything about it. Miger's gaining on Overtaker in this race. So crucial to see what's going to happen here. What I'd like to know is if it come down to crunch time, would Mike Matthews allow Matt Wright to get through if it came down to it?
I think Mike would. He knows how to play the team strategy very, very well. So I think if Righty were to catch up, Mike will just let him go through without a fight.
Obviously, Mike can still try and get P5 in the Platinum Championship, which would be brilliant for Mike. But, yeah, going to be interesting. Hibbs is within a second of Cardno now. In fact, Hibbs is within 0.3 of a second of Cardno. So, Damien Hibbs has a big send on Cardno into turn 1. And through goes Damien Hibbs on Thomas Cardno. Richie Michelle pits from second place. Cardno's allowing Leger to go through. Does Cardno have a problem?
He looked very, very slow going through turn 1. Almost, well, completely left the door open for Hibbs to chuck it down the inside. So I'm thinking maybe the damage that he has on the back of that car is just too bad for him.
Yeah. Alexandrov passes Richie Michelle. Go on, sorry.
I was just about to say Michelle in and done for the second of his stops.
Problem for Richie Michelle, look, he's come out on the rear of Sokolov, so if he wanted to use that pace, he's not going to be able to at this moment. So for Damien Hibbs there then, he's got ahead of Thomas Cardno. Whatever was happening to Tom Cardno for that brief moment has really put the dampers on this championship here because he's lost another place. Richie Michelle trying to pass Sokolov at the moment. Can't do so far. And through they go up towards Coppice once again in this race. 31 minutes Wellington left on the clock here in this race. And I have to say, what an end to the season this has been. This has been epic stuff from the pro drivers.
Yeah, it almost feels like an LMU race with how quick the race has gone by. It almost felt like we just finished qualifying.
Yep.
And here we are with the last 30 minutes of the season.
So, Richie Michelle on the back of Sokolov. Class hasn't answered back to Richie Michelle's pit stop. And Patrick Leger is 9.3 seconds over Class in this one. So we'll see what Class's pace is like now that he's got no traffic for the time being and now that he's not on the rear of Richie Michelle. But this will be hurting Richie Michelle more because he's now stuck behind that of Sokolov.
Yeah, and Sokolov just... I mean, there's still a little bit of a gap between them, but I do think that Richie Michelle is quicker over the stint. Sokolov still with one final stop left to do, so I don't know. I don't think that Sokolov is going to let Richie pass that easily.
No, he can't afford to.
That,
he can't
yeah,
afford to.
Mike is right there.
Tony Bates in the chat saying, what? No retirement with a laughing face. He must have looked at who's at the top of the leaderboard there, I reckon. Good old Tony. Well done. That's what we like to see.
He'll probably retire on FIFA afterwards.
Sokolov, though, down the back straight, still fending off Richie Michelle. Matt Wright's got Vitas side by side with him through Coppice corner. Matt Wright will not want an incident with Vitas here. Righty might just be better off letting Vitas go, considering that Vitas has done both his stops. But Matt Wright stays ahead of Vitas for the time being. In towards the Fogger TS as they go once again. Vitas will try once more to get the run. Brandon Williams, who's done both of his stops, is gaining on Sam Williams. Down the order a little bit more. Vitas up the inside of Matt Wright at the Melbourne hairpin. And through he goes. Richie Michelle, though, still can't pass that of Sokolov. If I was Mike, I'd have pitted. I'd have let Richie Michelle
easily.
and Sokolov fight, and I'd have tried to go for the undercut.
I am with you, man. I would have done the exact same thing. But maybe Mike's going to pit at the end of this lap, considering Sokolov has opened up a little bit of a gap between himself and Richie Michelle.
Well, let's wait and see what's going to happen then. see what's going to happen in this race as it unfolds. Further through the field they go. It's Dan Davis is up into 5th, 10 seconds off the back of Alexandrov. Harris on the podium at the moment, but obviously Richie Michel has done that latest stop. Williams coming under pressure. Sam Williams coming under pressure from Brandon Williams. Vasic has come back into the pit lane, so Hibbs has got through on Vasic, so that's good for Greasy Bandits. Cardno has also got through. Overtaker has, so has Maiga. John Goudet will not at this moment in time. And Richie Michel very close to the rear of Sokolov through Melbourne Hairpin. Having a look now into Goddard's. Can't do it. Mike's fell off the back of these two a little bit. I'd be definitely thinking if I was Mike to just come into the pit, and he's doing so. He's doing so now. So Mike comes into the pit, and if these two fight hard, this could benefit that of Mike Matthews.
Yeah, it definitely will help Mike out a little bit, but I think it was almost the perfect time for him just to come down the pits and knock out the last pit stop that he needs.
27 minutes left in this race. Mike Matthews already on his way out. He's lost out to Brandon Williams and Vitas, who's pitted. Where is Damien Hibbs? Not going to do Mike Matthews, who's already off the limiter. Sam Williams and Matt Wright also got past Mike, but they've still got a pit stop to make. And Richie Michel still, in fact, he's lost a bit of ground to Sokolov here, so he'll be trying to make that one up. And bearing in mind, can I just point out, since class has been released from Richie Michel, he's not closed in on Patrick Leger at all. So Patrick Leger running with great pace out there today.
Yeah, almost 10 seconds the gap between the two of them. But I think this is the pick-me-up that Patty Leger needed after an okay season, I'll say at best, with a little bit of a holiday and a few retirements mixed in. But yeah, just an okay season for
he's won a race, hasn't he? He's won a race, but then he's had a few bad races as well. So, yeah, Sam Williams cuts across the fog at Tiesa chicane. That should allow Brandon Williams around the outside, and indeed he does. Sam doesn't fight that one too hard, and he's now got 13 seconds to defend from Mike Matthews. But Sam's obviously got another pit stop to make. Sokolov answers right back to Mike and pits a lap later. Now, does Mike get the undercut on Sokolov? Well, Mike's coming through the Melbourne hairpin. We'll stay on board with Mike for the time being, because if Sokolov goes green by the time Mike is exiting the final hairpin, he's just gone green. Mike's entering it. So how far down the pit lane is Sokolov? How quick can Mike get out down the start-finish straight? Is Sokolov going to get out the pits before Mike Matthews gets to him? Yes, he is. So Sokolov responds to Mike Matthews, but Mike will have his tyres up to a nice temperature and pressure before Sokolov after they cool down in the pit lane.
Yeah, still, if I was Mike, I probably would have pitted a lap or two earlier as soon as Richie Michel got onto the back of Sokolov, but it seemed that they didn't hold each other up as much as we initially thought, but the gap between the two of them looks way bigger than when Mike first pitted,
yeah.
So maybe Mike took in just a little bit more fuel than Sokolov did.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with 25 minutes left, this ought to play for.
Tom Cardno's just going through the old hairpin. Matt Wright is coming through the Melbourne loop. So, Matt Wright almost ending a lap. Cardno's done about a quarter of it, if not halfway by now. So, Matt Wright has pulled a little bit further at Tom Cardno. So, I fancy that when Matt Wright comes in for his stop, he should come out ahead of Thomas Cardno, and that should give him the championship. And Matt Wright was telling us something to us off air earlier, and it kind of melts your heart a little bit. His son cheering him on today, his youngest son cheering him on today, saying that he wants Daddy to win the championship, which is nice to see. Obviously, getting his little one involved and wanting to see his dad win the title here in gold. So great to see. Because we know something. We're not going to let it out on stream yet. We're not going to say who's in what kind of category or car at the moment for the new LMU season. But Matt Wright joining the LMU calendar for next year. Whether he's back on ACC or not, we don't know. But he'll be on the ACC calendar, Wellington.
I feel like we could spill that.
All right, he's in all right, yeah, fine. He's in the hypercars. Bold option for Matt Wright there.
I mean, hey, if you could drive the LMP3s on LMU, you could easily drive the hypercars. Now, the LMP2s, whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
At least when you have a setup, they are very, very sketchy, but the hypercars feel almost exactly like the LMP3s. Just throw the right height up to max, or the rear right height up to max, and you could get it to absolutely rip around some of the tighter tracks like Laguna Seca and Qatar.
Indeed, should be an interesting one. Patrick Leger then leads by 10 seconds to that of class. Michael Harris is in P3. With Alexandrinov in 4th. Dan Davis is P5 from Richie Michel, your net pit leader, was 2nd place before he did his final stop of the day. Vitas is in 7th from Matt Wright in 8th. He is your gold leader as well. Brandon Williams is in P9 from Sam Williams in 10th, 2nd place in gold. Sokolov 11th from Mike Matthews 12th. Hibbs is 3rd in gold, 13th place overall. Tom Cardno 4th in gold and 14th overall. Overtaker 15th, Maiga 16th, Vasic, and then John Goudet. We've lost Milliston, we've lost Prestige, and we've lost Piras in this session as well. So interesting to keep our eyes on what will happen in the final 22 minutes as Goudet just runs wide at Coppice onto the gravel. Not a lot happening at the moment out there, Wellington, but we've still got the top 5 and then 3 more cars to do their last. So we've got 8 cars left to do their pit stops. And we're just awaiting, really, for them to come in and see where that's going to filter them out on this circuit.
Oh, righty, Kerry. That's a huge track limit. Going through the Fogger TS is almost straight lined it through the second part.
So is it maybe time for Matt Wright to come into the pit lane, I wonder? And if so, will he be changing to put a fresh set of boots on the car? We've just had another retirement from this race. And I can't quite see who it is.
Might be Alexandrov. I'm not seeing a
Ferrari.
It
It is, yeah. It's Alexandrov who's retired from this race. John Goudet lets Matt Wright go down the crane of curves. And it is Alexandrov who's retired from this race. Then, who was pushing on the back of Harris a little bit more. But Alexandrov, another retirement from this one then. Now, it could have just been a disconnection. We're not too sure, but they're not in this lobby at the moment. As Goudet has a massive slide through McLean's there, and that's going to allow him to slow down to let Williams and, in fact, both Williams through. Brandon and Sam Williams both go through there on John Goudet. But that is going to be down up to 4th place then at the moment. And that will give Vitas an extra couple of points for this Platinum Championship, and crucially for Balkan Esports to win the Constructors here, because they look dead set on this one at the moment, if you ask me. They're driving too well. Both of them are up there for Greasy Bandit, SimPlay Racing or Team SPR to catch them.
Yeah, but again, as I said a little bit earlier, it's all to play for in terms of the Teams Championship, or in the second place in the Teams Championship, my bad. And kind of, or the rest of the teams down there, so 2nd, 3rd, 4th, I think maybe 5th.
You've got a fancy Team SPR at the minute, the current state of it, to finish 2nd place in the team standings, which then poses the question, imagine if Harris and Leger didn't retire from the races, or imagine if Leger wasn't on holiday, they'd be really close to the back of Balkan Esports at the moment in terms of that team's title.
Oh, easily, but I think it kind of balanced out as Suzuka, considering Harris won and his teammate was probably getting suntanned at the beach.
Probably, yeah.
If I had to assume.
I think he went camping, so I'm not sure.
Oh. I genuinely did not know that you could go camping in the Netherlands.
Okay.
I'm being so real. Probably went trackside at Zandvoort a couple weeks early.
Well, let's see what's going to happen then, because I tell you what, as much as we've given Paddy Leger grief for being the retire man, he's been clinical tonight, been absolutely clinical tonight. 10.5 seconds clear of Class, who has been by far one of the quickest drivers this season.
Yeah, and I would just say Class has been one of the quicker drivers in the past 2, maybe 3 seasons.
Yep.
From what I remember. Very, very consistent. Ooh, big slide for Harris, closing on to the back of,
That's Cardno.
Tom?
Yeah, number 7, Tom Cardno. So that's Cardno a lap down there, but Harris has still got to do his final stop. Overtaker's gaining on Cardno, but Overtaker's still got to do his final stop. So bit of a fight developing here between Cardno and... Cardno's just lost all his pace because he's now 11.9 seconds behind Damien Hibbs. So he's just lost all... Whatever's happened to Tom, he's lost all of his pace here.
Yeah, unfortunate to see. Maybe it's just the gut feeling of knowing that all hope is lost. Or maybe it is just the damage on the back of his car that got a little too bad. And it makes the car feel unpredictable.
Yeah.
I think it's just a mix of those two things.
Yeah, probably right there, Beef, to be honest with you. Richie Michel's within 10 seconds of Dan Davis. That'll be an extra position for him when he pits. Brandon Williams is gaining on the back of Matt Wright a little bit here then. But obviously, Matt Wright still to pit, as is Sam Williams. 17 minutes left in this race. So you just wonder when the pit stops are going to happen for the top four. And then the three scattered down the field. So 7 drivers still to pit in this one. And you just wonder when that's going to come around.
Yeah, I think that once Dan pits, he might lose out to that of Richie Michel. But Harris, I think if he doesn't take tires, he should have that podium spot locked down.
Yeah, you might be right there. Richie Michel may have just cost himself a bit too much time over Michael Harris. Mike Matthews within 3/10 of Sokolov. Now, these two have both pitted. So this fight's a little bit more important than the Overtaker Cardno and the Matt Wright and Brandon Williams one, because Wright and Overtaker still left to pit. But these two, Sokolov and Matthews, they've been inseparable tonight. They seem to have been together the entire of this race, whichever way it's been around. They've seem to be, right with each other on the similar sort of pace. So then, let's see what happens in the rest of this one. 16 minutes exactly left on the clock. And Overtaker now comes in for his final stop of the day. So Overtaker into the pits then, Wellington. And that is his final stop done and in the bag. And we've just got 6 drivers left to make their final pit stops here. And it's going to be interesting to see what Matt Wright and Sam Williams' pit stops are going to be, isn't it? Because they're only about 5 seconds, 6 seconds maybe, separating the two of them. But if Matt Wright... I mean, I can't see anybody taking tyres for the final 15 minutes, so it's surely got to just be splash and dash for the pair.
Yeah, unless they've stood on these tires the whole race so far. But I think that most drivers took tires at the first pit stop and just kind of full push to the end.
Well then, down towards turn 1, Sokolov stays ahead of Mike Matthews for the time being. Can't find his way past at the minute, can Mike? He's not quite close enough to have a look either. And I wonder when we're going to get to the pit stop of Matt Wright in this race, because we believe that Vitas is going to win the Platinum Championship. Klaas has still got to pit as well. But the Matt Wright, Tom Cardno one is the one I'm interested to see. Yes, Cardno seems to have lost all pace in this race, but it's the Matt Wright Cardno fight that I think is the one that's going to be closer than the Vitas Klaas one.
I mean, yeah, if Cardno could find a way to maybe get 17 seconds to that of Hibbs, could bring the two of them just a little bit closer. Well, ultimately, I think that Tom is just way too far down the order in order to have just a handful of points between himself and Matt Wright at the end of this.
Let's see what's going to happen. Mike Matthews still close to the rear of that of Sokolov as they come in towards Goddard's hairpin. Can't do anything about it at the minute, can Mike? He's just a little bit too far behind in this race at the moment. And so far, this is interesting to see what Mike Matthews can do in this race for now, because if he can try and get some extra points, it'll help him for that P5 in the Drivers' Championship. But
a third drive-through for that of Overtaker.
That's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy. It baffles me. He got a drive-through last week that then turned into a stop-go. Now he's had 3 drive-throughs tonight, so I don't know exactly what Overtaker's doing out there, but it does seem quite baffling at the moment, Wellington.
Yeah, maybe just overdriving the car and making a bunch of silly mistakes.
Well, either way, it's not been the way he'd have wanted to end his season, that is for sure. And if you ask me, as he's in for his drive-through now, we'll go back to the Sokolov-Mike Matthews fight. Coming through Melbourne hairpin, they go once again. Now let's see if Mike Matthews can get any closer once again to the back of Sokolov. No, he can't. Tries to take a wide line in to sort of slingshot out the corner. Overtaker completes his 3rd drive-through of the day. He's been in the pits, I think, more times than he's done laps around this circuit at the moment. Oh, there we go. That's going to end it. That's going to end the championship battle. Thomas Cardno, drive-through penalty. That there, Wellington, has just ended the Gold Championship battle.
Yeah, that's kind of the bow on the gift, I guess. Well fought from both sides, and I think the 5 drivers involved were just really, really unlucky for Tom within the last 11 minutes to receive a drive-through.
Yeah, it really has. So Thomas Cardno in now. He will surely lose out to Vasic. And no, I don't think he'll lose out to Overtaker. Here comes Vasic, who I believe will get past him. Yes, he will just about, yep. And Cardno comes right out ahead of Richie Michel, by the way. So that'll delay Richie Michel in terms of getting back ahead of Thomas, ahead of that of class when the pit stops come around. And by the way, Patrick Leger is 12.8 seconds clear of that of class at the moment. So Leger is flying out there. Back to the Sokolov and Mike Matthews fight, though. Mike just not close enough. And Overtaker's back into the pit lane here then. So I'm not sure what Overtaker's in for now.
He's still driving, so he hasn't returned to the pits, but maybe he underfueled a little bit.
Possibly. We'll see how long he's stationary in the box. If he does retire from this moment, he will score points, but it will still go down as that retirement to his name. Which he won't want, because that'll mean he'll carry a qualifying ban into the first race of the season next season. And nobody's going to want that one, is it? Depending on the reasoning behind the retirement then. So he'll need to come back out onto the track. That might give Goudet an extra couple of places. But this is the closest and only fight on the circuit. I say that, actually, Vasic and Cardno's pretty close on track as well. And Matt Wright can just probably pit at any time he wants now, because where is Vasic? Cardno's coming through the final corner. Matt Wright's at the Melbourne Loop. So Matt Wright could probably pit at any time he wants, and it's not going to matter. Mike Matthews, though, all over the rear of Sokolov. Gets a much better run through the chicane than that of Sokolov. Mike Matthews, here he comes. Outside line, though, for the Melbourne Loop. Can he hold it on the outside? Because it'll give him the inside line going into Goddard's. He's going to look for the up and under. As much as it might have worked, Sokolov will then have that inside line going into Goddard's corner. Mike needs to be on the other side of him. Can't do so. He's now going to swing it out wide to bring it in and get the traction out the final corner. But again, you kind of want to be on the outside line coming through Goddard's to give you the inside for Redgate. And Mike there stays behind that of Sokolov. Patrick Leger in the background, yet to come into the pits. 13-second lead. And Mike still trying to get past this of Sokolov.
Yeah, probably going to be the final battle that we see of this season. But Mike just not able to confidently put the power down as compared to Sokolov, who, again, in the Ferrari, you can run such a high traction control. I'm riding on board with him. And sure enough, he's running quite a high TC number as compared to Mike.
Eight and a half minutes left on the clock. 6 drivers left to do their final stops of the season. Patrick Leger coming down the SimPlay straight on the rear or gaining closer to Sokolov and Mike Matthews as they are battling it out. Mike's lost a bit of ground to Sokolov this lap. And Richie Michel 9 seconds behind Sorry, that's Vitas 9 seconds behind Richie Michelle. See what Richie is to Dan Davis when he comes through Sector 1. It is 9.3, so plus the 17.9 added to that. Depending on Class's splash and dash and Harris's splash and dash, I think Richie Michelle may have cost himself a podium here. He tried something different, respect that, but it may have been too long a pit stop for Richie Michelle to do as Mike Matthews flashing the lights at Sokolov. These two should gain 2 extra places here because of that fact that Mike Wright and Sam Williams have both got a pit. But Mike's trying to fight the Balkan Esports team for the Constructors' Championship and he'll want to try and score as many points over Sokolov as he possibly can.
Yeah, I think that Mike is going to give it all that he has and all that his McLaren has. And it's the final race of the season. Why not just go balls to the wall?
Yep.
While, not receiving a ticket or anything that could hinder you for the start of next season.
Yep, completely agree with you there, dude. I think that, just do what you need to do. But yeah, let's wait and see. Mike closing in on Sokolov once again in towards the Fogarty S's. Looks to try and get the better run out, but doesn't. Sokolov actually got the better momentum out the corner there. Cordno on the back of Vasic coming down in towards turn 1. So we're down to 14th and 15th place for the time being. Still none of the front runners into the pits. I say that. Matt Wright just comes in now. So with Cordno only just going through turn 1, it doesn't matter what Matt Wright does in this pit stop. Could he end the season by winning the championship, by winning the gold race? Because Sam Williams has still got to pit. Williams has taken the net lead of gold, but has still got to pit. Where's Damien Hibbs? Only just come through the Fogarty S's. Matt Wright is on his way out the pit lane. Sokolov and Mike did just get past him. So Matt Wright will come out the pits in 11th place, but Sam Williams still to do his stop. Your champion is on his way home now. 6 minutes left of this race, and Matt Wright, you have to say, is looking good now for that championship title. In fact, where's Cordno gone? Well, what has happened to Cordno? Because Vasic is at the Fogarty S's and Cordno's only just come through Coppice. So Cordno's made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, I just saw him as a little white dot. I didn't see any yellow flags for him. Cuts the second part of the Fogarty S's. Dan Davis is now in for his last stop.
This will be crucial and see the gap between between Michelle and Harris, because Richie Michelle has just passed Dan in the pit lane. Vitas might also get Dan as well. Will Brandon Williams get Dan? Brandon Williams coming in towards Goddard's now. Dan's on his way out of the pits. Vitas flies on through. Brandon Williams coming down the start-finish straight. Dan's off the limiter. So no, Dan will come out ahead of Brandon Williams. Sam stays out on the track. So your only fight now that Cordno's dropped off the back of Vasic is that of Sokolov and Mike Matthews once again here. And now we get to see what the gap is between Richie Michelle and that of Michael Harris for when Michael Harris comes round to do his stop. Race leader, 13 seconds in the lead into the pits.
So it's a really good call from Paddy as to now get stuck behind that of Matt Wright. Class stays out. But I don't think that him staying out is going to be enough to try and close in 13 seconds.
I think, I'm wondering if he's just trying to extend depending on Richie Michelle. That's my only thought there, really.
Maybe, but Patrick Leger already out, not terribly far behind that of Michael Harris.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 corners. That's about it.
Well, Richie Michelle's just coming through the final corner now. Harris has already gone through sector 1, so I think Richie Michelle's about a sector behind Michael Harris here. So has Harris got enough to do Richie Michelle? That's the question. We'll see what the gap is. Sector 1's not the longest sector compared to the middle sector then. Although Harris is up at Coppice now as Richie Michelle's about to come through sector 1. The gap is 21.3 seconds. So, depending on when Harris pits, Sam Williams in. So where is Matt Wright? Will Matt Wright, who's approaching the final corner now, he's about to become the gold champion and he's about to become the gold race leader once again in this race. And Wellington, you have to say, Matt Wright here has been electric. No pace he had, by the way. Oh, I'm struggling, he said. A second slower in free practice. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing the air quotes at the minute.
Air quotes.
And he's now leading in gold. Class is into the pits. So has Richie Michel got enough over Class? I don't think Richie Michel does have enough, because it's actually 21.8 to Leger and then an extra 5 seconds to Harris. So does Michael Harris has stayed out on the track, I assume? Yes, he has. So inherits the race lead. Patrick Leger moves up into second. Richie Michel approaching the final hairpin corner of Goddard's. And Class is already on his way out of the pit lane. Comes out the pit lane now. So Class in second place has done everything he can to try and win this championship. But sadly, Vitas has just driven too good a race today.
And just I wouldn't just say this race, but I think the whole season, Vitas has constantly been up there, along with Class and Milliston. So I think those are the three to really keep your eye out on the entire season.
Yeah, I agree. Mike's dropped to a second off the back of Sokolov now, so it's all eyes on when Michael Harris pits. All eyes on this one, because if Richie Michel has then been overcut by Michael Harris, what a day that will be for the Team SPR drivers who are trying to take the fight to Balkan Esports. I don't think they've done enough. I think Balkan Esports have hung on in there. But Michael Harris and Patrick Leger could be looking at second place in that Constructors' Championship. Hibbs, by the way, after his lap one dramas, has come all the way back up to P12, so fair play to Hibbs. Harris into the pits. Where is Richie Michel? He's down at Goddard at Melbourne Hairpin. Harris needs a quick stop here. He's stationary in his box. When does that go green? It's longer than he'd have probably liked here for Michael Harris. He's gone green now. Richie Michel exits that of the Goddard hairpin down the start-finish straight. When is Michael Harris going to come off the limiter? Here comes Richie Michel. Harris off the limiter now. Richie Michel just gets in front of Michael Harris. So we've got one lap of racing, I believe, here at Donington Park. The final lap of the race, I do believe. We'll wait and see when Leger crosses the line. But can Harris get onto the rear and ahead of Richie Michel? Great pace then from Richie Michel to get the jump on Michael Harris there.
Yeah, and that's kind of shocking. It seemed that Richie Michel was almost a full sector, maybe sector and a half behind, and just managed to slowly reel in Michael Harris. Maybe Harris took a little bit too much fuel that maybe cost him.
Well, let's go to Patrick Leger, because he's rounding the final corner in just a moment. Might even squeeze one more lap in here, you know. He might even squeeze one more lap in for Paddy Leger.
A little victory lap.
Yeah, why not? 12 seconds up the road from Matthias Class. And he is. He's going to start the final. I saw John Goudet going slow to let the leader through. And Patrick Leger's gone and done one more. He's done his teammate a massive favour, because Harris is within 9/10 of a second of Richie Michel. So is this Harris's chance to possibly get ahead of Richie Michel, who goes a little deep at Goddard's, does the Lamborghini driver there. So has Leger pushed like mad to give Harris one last chance to get past Richie?
I think Harris is going to give every bit of tire tread, curving, and tracks with he's allowed to use in order to catch up to that of Richie Michel. I know he is absolutely fiending for that podium.
He is indeed. 0.6 of a second is the gap. Michael Harris pushing the car as far as it can potentially go. Paddy Leger's coming down towards the Foggetiers as Class has got 11 seconds to Patrick Leger, but it's not going to matter, barring a mistake from the Ford Mustang driver. Still 0.6 of a second. It looks like it stayed about the same. Harris has only got a couple of corners left. He's pushing too hard. He's had a slide. That's probably put it to bed. But through the Melbourne Loop, Patrick Leger is about to take a race win. He's dropped outside the top 10 in the championship, but he's about to get it back for sure. Patrick Leger rounds the final corner and will be your race winner for the final time in Season 11. Matthias Class in second place. What a drive from him. Not enough, we believe, for the championship. But still, what a drive. Third place, is it Richie Michel? It seems to be at the moment. in this one. Richie Michelle does take third. Michael Harris will come across for P4. Vitas is going to take P5 and will be your platinum champion here, although I don't actually know if he will or not, because the points aren't updating properly on the championships tables. So Mike's made an error there, so I'm going to have to get Mike in to get them tables quickly sorted, because otherwise we don't know what the points actually are and who's on what amount of points. Brandon Williams finishes in 7th. Sokolov is going to cross the line for P number 8. We then going to have that of Mike Matthews to come across the line in 9th. Matt Wright, though, is going to win in the Gold Series. So Matt Wright will take the Gold Championship win and 10th place overall. Sam Williams on the podium in gold, second with a 10th place, 11th place, but second in gold on the night. Damien Hibbs is going to come through for 12th. Podium for him in gold. Maiger was 13th. Cordner was down in 15th place in this one. So a good drive from him. We've then got that of John Goudet, was down in 17th place. Benny Varga not here tonight. Neither was Decor. Vasic come across the line, P14. No Herendich or Leach as well. So I'd love to tell you the championship standings, but Wellington, we can't at the moment because there seems to be a little issue with the overall point standings. So yeah, I can't. I don't exactly know the formula as to why. It's because for some reason, and I've just found out why, they're not being added up here. So let me see if I can just. So we've got a bit of a technical issue in terms of these points at the minute. So do bear with us, please, while we try and get this one sorted out. And we'll hopefully try and get this this rectified in this one. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm just going to message. I'm going to save this. And while we get the interviews done, see who's jumped in here at the moment. I'm going to message Mike and tell him, in fact, we're just going to go to a very quick break screen before we do the interview. So we're just going to pop to a break screen. Just going to speak to Mike so I can get you these champions. Apologies about this. We are getting this looked at the moment. For some reason, the column isn't adding the points to the driver's total. So we will get interviews done while Mike is sorting this one out. So we are joined at the moment by, I believe, a few of the drivers from the race in this one so far. Who is in the chat with us at this moment in time? We've got that of Patrick Leger, Class and Hibbs. So we'll start with Hibbs, third place in gold. Damien, third place in gold today. You gave it your all to try and win this championship. You tried everything you could to take the fight to the very end. And it kind of went bad for you at the end of lap 1. Sam.
One, and then it bit me again just towards the end. But I think the spin on lap 1, 2 spins of my own doing at that chicane, I back to a podium, got to speak to you with the Honda at the end of the season.
Yes.
What a perk, eh?
Yeah, what a perk as well. Decent season, up and down season, I suppose, for yourself there, buddy.
Yeah.
In what has been, sometimes that Honda's been really good, sometimes it's not been so good out there. But, we don't quite know where you finished in the championship at the moment. Mike is sorting that out so far. But it's been a solid season. Top 4 in gold once again, potentially top 3 due to finishing out of Miga. It's been a really good season for yourself.
Yeah, I've learned between the 2 seasons I've run the Honda, I've learned that I just cannot figure out the high temperatures. When I saw the temperatures were like, early mid-20s, I thought, awesome. Qualifying, the car was just absolutely hooked up. I know the best setups I've got are Silverstone and Donington. So once I saw the temperature was right, it felt properly hooked up. And then I thought I was going to try and just run with the Platinum guys at the start. But the racing gods had other ideas for me.
So if you like it in the mid-20s, low 20s, then that must mean the Honda's making a return for season 12, because it'll obviously be the winter series. Surely?
Yeah, I think a break from the Honda again, maybe back to the McLaren. I'm unsure yet, but this season's been tough. I figured out the temperatures. Maybe the Honda will be a winter reappearance.
Well, we'll wait and see. Well, congratulations tonight. Congratulations on the season. Like I said, we will try and find out where you finished. I am waiting for confirmation from Mike that the spreadsheet's been done, but well done.
No problems. Congrats to, I assume it was...
Captain Sandbags, we believe, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it might be, but congrats to him. Great season, and picked an awkward car and still did it. So
which actually I want to pick you up on this, because you've been very chatty with him in the Discord this season. Not bad, considering that he's not very good. He's a little slow. He's not got no pace.
He's rubbish, isn't he?
He's terrible.
Yeah, he washed up.
Yeah, has been. Well done, Hibbs. Congratulations, bud.
No worries. Thank you. Cheers all. Thanks for everything. Thanks for hosting. Thanks for putting it all together. Yeah, great job.
Pleasure, buddy. Pleasure. We'll move over to Sam Williams.
Cheers.
Sam, second place in gold. It's not been the season in gold you'd have probably been quite hoping for. Obviously making the step up to pro this season from Pro-Am. But you've kind of put your Donington demons to bed by getting a podium.
Yeah, a nice strong finish to what's been a tricky season. I'm good at Donington when hardware, allows. So it was nice to get a good result tonight. Very, very happy with that. Shame it couldn't have been like that all season, but I was looking for a strong finish at Donington. So, happy with P2.
Yeah, happy with P2. It's been quite a good race tonight. You was leading for a stage of it with Matt Wright just obviously behind you. He kept you honest after you got past him, but sadly it wasn't to be in terms of holding on to that position, was it? He managed to get you back. Yeah,
he was keeping the gap. Very consistent, keeping very honest. But I was feeling good. I was in a decent flow. I thought I could keep it up. And just made a mistake coming through the chicane. And he got past and then managed to drive away. I sort of went downhill a bit after that. So yeah, well done to Matt Wright for that one. But yeah, I thought I might have been in for a win for a short period there, but he was keeping the gap really consistent, so it was going to be a tough ask anyway.
Obviously, great season in the BMW. It's been an interesting one to see you go in that car and drive it quite well. Will it be making a return in the BMW next season, or looking at something else?
This is the big question. I do like the Beamer. I think I struggled to get the tyres in the right window in the higher temps. So it's a question of, do I stick with it for the lower temps in the coming season, or do I go back to the old faithful steed and the McLaren? Much testing will need to be done. Not a bad season in the Beamer. I was hoping for a bit better, but with the step up to the new category, I think it went sort of as well as can be expected, really.
Yeah. Well,
so lots of testing, and we'll see what car we're in next season.
Indeed. Well, congratulations this season, buddy. We'll let you enjoy that one, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the great commentary and everybody who does the work behind the scenes at SimPlay. Much appreciated, and it's awesome. Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure, buddy. We're going to move to second place in the Platinum class. You gave it all you had. You obviously knew you was on the back foot from missing last week. Sadly, Vitas took the championship. You did everything you needed to do, bar probably win that race, I suppose. But it was a good race from you.
Yeah, no, it was a good race. Leger was really fast today. He totally deserved that win. He made Ford look fast around here, which is pretty surprising, to be honest. And also congrats to Vitas for winning the championship. His consistency was absolutely amazing the whole season. Yeah, missing last week's race probably hurt a lot, considering it was also after the drop score.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really regretting it because the vacation was great as well. So,
there we go. It's about a win-win. Good fight with Richie Michel tonight. He kept you really honest, and at one stage was ahead of you after the first pit stops. You managed, though, to get a good jump over him after the second pit stop. It seemed like he'd pitted just that little bit too early.
Yeah, I was kind of sad that he pitted that, actually, because I wanted a good fight at the end, but yeah, he had a different strategy, probably. But yeah, he lost a lot of time in the pits, so probably got stuck behind some traffic or made a mistake somewhere. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'm happy with a P2, to be honest. So yeah, I can't complain. I was really consistent the whole race, so yeah, I don't think it was a bad result at all. So yeah, I'm also very happy with how much I've improved since last season again. Going from the goal to fighting for the championship in Platinum is absolutely amazing as well.
It is indeed. Thoughts for next season? Obviously, we know you're registered to the LMU season. What's the thoughts on the ACC as well? Are you looking to do both, or is it just focusing on LMU now for next season?
Yeah, I'm putting down ACC. It's quits for me after this race.
Yeah.
I mean, not fully, but I'm mainly focused on the Ultimate. But with about 20 minutes left in the race, I started to realize how much I'm probably gonna miss this game because it really teaches the fundamentals of racing. So yeah, I'm absolutely not quitting this game, but I'm mainly focusing on the Ultimate.
Well, we can't wait to see what you can do on LMU when we see you over there in a couple of weeks' time. Well done tonight. Unlucky for the season, and we'll see you on LMU.
All right, thank you.
We'll go and speak then to your race winner. We'll start with gold. In fact, no, I'll tell you what, we'll start with platinum because gold is your champion. We'll start with platinum. Patrick Leger, winner man. Well done, buddy. That was a cracking drive from you.
Yeah, I mean, I was totally surprised. I mean, I was expecting that Millistan or Glatz were going to dominate and I was driving behind them, but today everything felt right. I mean, oh my god, I'm so happy that I finally won a main race in this series, in this league.
Shame about obviously he was away for the last 2 weeks. You had a couple of Thursdays on holiday. 2 retirements this season. Didn't want to bring it up, but I think we've got to. 2 retirements this season. Had you been...
Did I have 2 retirements?
I believe it was 1 or 2, either way. Had you not had them retirements this season, or been on holiday, it could have been a question of what if. This then looks positive going into next season, doesn't it? Obviously, we know you're not making the jump to LMU this year, so it means you will be back for season 12. So what does that mean you could do for season 12 with the likes of Class obviously stepping away and a few others?
The question remains what replacement drivers SimPlay is going to get for next season, because I'm still pretty sure there's still a lot of good drivers in the pool of ACC. So I mean, I'm not going to shout out that I'm going for a championship, but I mean, I think after today I can definitely say that I can probably go for a win or two. And depending how the season goes, then I will decide if a championship is realistic or not.
Indeed. Well, congratulations on the race win. We'll let you get back to that one, and see you next season.
Thank you, mate. Let's go! Woo!
Indeed. We'll start off. With the team's champions. We'll start off with Sokolov first. We'll get into Vitas in just a little bit. Sokolov, team's champion. Hard-fought race with Mike Matthews tonight, but you've won the team's championship. That must be absolutely brilliant for you.
Yeah, finally, after last year kind of slipped us from our hands because we had a horrible last race. This one was much better. So yeah, I did miss 2 races I think this season, so very happy with the result. I think I was kind of quicker in the last season and more consistent than this year, but I had less of a bad luck. Last year was horrible with the luck, so overall happy. Not too happy with myself personally, but really happy for the championship.
Yeah, happy for the championship. It was a hard-fought race. You got the job done early doors, though, didn't you? That's the big thing. You got the job done early doors in that team's championship to build a big enough gap.
I'm sorry to Cardno. I touched him in the first lap. I kind of spun him in the hairpin, so that's completely on me. So public apology as well here. So
You're fine. What's the thoughts going into next season?
I don't know. I think I'll probably kind of retire from ACC, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. Well, hopefully you'll still be around within the league, and we'll see.
Probably on the PC side.
Yeah. Well, LMU, it's there, ready to go if you're ready to sign up. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you on there, buddy.
Most probably. Thank you so
Cheers,
much.
buddy. We'll get to Vitas in just a moment's time. Obviously being the Platinum Champion and Teams Champion, but we're going to speak to Matt Wright, Captain Sandbags himself. I'm not going to win a race. I'm not going to win this championship. Wins the race, wins the championship. You do it every single week. How does that one feel?
To be honest, it's real bittersweet. The enjoyment of that win was sort of taken away from us, I think, in that first lap. To see Cardno get spun and not have the opportunity to race him for the championship it's a real disappointment. But if it hadn't have been for me and Mike having a possible top 3 in the teams, then I probably would have waited and had a battle with Tom to see what we could do with each other.
Either way, you've got to take this season. You went in a car that hasn't been a favoured car. It hasn't necessarily always performed well. You knew the challenges going into this year of the Porsche. You've taken multiple race wins, multiple podiums. You've been pushed hard by Maiger, by Hibbs, by Goudet, by Tom himself, Williams also at times. Just how good is that one? You know, if you take away tonight, how good was that one?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was never expecting to sort of gel with this car like I did, to be honest. It's everyone sort of tells you the horror stories of driving it and how difficult it is. But to be honest, once I got into the groove of it, it really felt good. Yeah. I feel like my race pace again was good tonight. Sam, obviously, he had great pace in that first stint. He sort of closed the gap up to me quite quick, and then managed to get past. And it was just a case of managing that gap to him. Once he got past, I almost used him to settle into it a little bit more, and then I just managed to stay with him and sort of push a little bit. Once we were getting to the middle of the race, he was starting to lose a bit of grip with the rears, getting a bit slidey. And I think because I managed to just get into a rhythm behind him, I managed to protect my tyres a bit more and keep it clean. But yes, it's been a great season in Porsche. It's been enjoyable to drive.
It has indeed. We know about the fact you're going to be doing LMU next season. Is there an ACC return as well, or is it just solely focusing on LMU?
it's almost hard to say goodbye to ACC. I've been racing now in it for the last 3 years. Every single week doing it, that it does feel a bit sad to sort of put it down and say goodbye to it. But I'm taking the hypercars in LMU, so I think I'm going to need to put a bit of time into that. So it probably will be end of days for ACC.
I'm not going to lie. You say you need to put a bit of time into them. You've put barely any time into this Porsche and won a championship. So, hey, form.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I have won the championship, but I think Tom was the better driver throughout. He had more race wins. He had more pole positions. I think it's just what won me the championship is that my bad races weren't as bad as his bad races.
Indeed.
But
well, either way,
got it through.
You did. Either way, you won it, and congratulations for that one. I can confirm as well, because I can see that Hibbs is still in this chat. Hibbs does finish third in the championship ahead of Miga by a solitary point, so well done to Hibbs. Matt, you are the gold champion for season number 11 here at SimPlay Motorsport. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And we move on to our platinum champion, first-time champion, brand new to the top end of the pro grid, the pro series. Obviously, gold champion a few seasons ago. It's Vitas. You've now won the platinum championship as well as the team's championship for Balkan Esports. That must be double delight for you.
Oh yeah, finally, mate. It feels. I must admit, it feels really, really good to be a champion, platinum champion.
Yep.
I did one gold. But I was like, no, I just knew that the platinum win would be much better,
Yeah.
At the start of the season, I really didn't even think of it, that I would win it. There were some really fast guys in it. Todd Marvinic, he was leading all the way at the start. But yeah, then he went to vacation, so he didn't race till the end. But still, I'm happy. I was consistent. I didn't practice much this season. I was too busy, but still, I was consistent, and that's what matters, right?
Exactly, that is what matters. And you have come away as champion. It has been a hard fight, and it wasn't. You didn't do it the easy way. You had that qualifying ban. You had to start at the back of the grid, so you had to fight your way through the field.
Yeah, that felt really. I don't know why, but I did race better tonight with the quali ban than I did when I actually do qualifying. I don't know why. It felt really good, like last to first, and I was a little bit under the pressure. I was only 50 points. If I spin, blah blah blah, maybe because I was so close to being the champion. So, but. Yeah, and also for team championship, we did really great job with Sokolo, and that's a first win for Balkan Sim Hub here. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Great.
Thoughts on next season? Will you be back on ACC? What's the plans for next season?
Yeah, I don't have any plans. I mean, I was planning to go on PC side. Yeah, to be fair, but. We'll see. I really like racing on ACC on console. Like the vibes here, it's cool, and nonetheless, I think I will be back. Yeah, and I'm happy for it. And thanks for organizing, guys. Great commentatory and everything great. So yeah, thanks again.
Brilliant. No, thank you very much. So that is your champions, your race winners, your podium finishers for this one. Matt, you're still with us, I do believe. Obviously, end of season 11. Mike's not joined us. We normally get Mike in for the end, and Langley, I know, is at work. But the end of the season's now come through.
Rude from Mike, isn't it?
Yeah, really rude from Mike, to be fair. I couldn't even fix the spreadsheet. I had to do it manually. Crazy. The season's come to an end. Obviously, season 11 been another cracking season. We've seen the most ever subscribers on the YouTube channel. The views have been up. The grids have been fantastic. We move now forward. We've got... Where are we? What date are we on? 20th. We've got 2 weeks off until the start of the LMU season starts and gets underway. Extended 10-week race calendar. We've got a bit of a break now. We've got our 6-week break in which we'll do some special events for the ACC side of things until that gets back going. But you've got to think what is coming forward now for SimPlay. It's just getting bigger and bigger, and we're just moving forward.
You said what?
Yeah, definitely. No, here he is. He's turned up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We seem to be growing well. I think moving over to the PC side of things is going to help bring a lot of new faces in, a lot of new viewers. Like we saw those subscribers shoot up when we joined PC, and it's just thank you to all those guys, really, everyone that races, everyone that watches. It's great to see the numbers going up, and I do want to say congratulations to you for this season's mate, because off the track, out of the comms box, going into the real life stuff, I think everyone's proud of what you've done, and keeping the stream going, because the stream is what sets SimPlay apart from every other league, I think, and that's all down to yourself.
Yeah, I can only echo that, Matt. It's without the stream, we wouldn't be what we are now, and you sacrifice so much time to bring that stream.
Oh, thank you. No, it's finally appreciated from you two, to be honest.
No, we'll blow your trumpet.
Every now and again. It's nice to actually get some positive comments from you two, to be honest. No, it's been brilliant.
To say that.
You what? Sorry, John?
How much do you pay him to say that?
Mate, you can't pay these two to say anything, if I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I didn't realise using it, to be fair.
Yeah, to be honest, you're useless at everything else, so you balance yourself out.
Yeah, I've got to do something. Right, that is it. If you are at Donington Park, not this weekend, but the weekend after, I'm there doing the circuit and the broadcast commentary, so come and say hello if you are at Donington Park. Come and say hello. We'll have a chat. We'll grab a drink, see if we've got the time, and we'll chill out. But it's going to be a great one there for that one. As for us, SimPlay Motorsport, that is Season 11 in the bag. Season 12 will be with you 7 weeks from today for the Pro Series. We've got a 6-week off season where me, Mike, Matt and Langley have got some busy work to do in terms of rules, regulations, see what we need to change, see what we need to tweak, or maybe keep the same. The calendar will be announced this weekend. We've not quite finalised it yet. It will be announced this weekend, so keep your eyes on our Instagram, our Twitter and our Facebook pages for that one. If you're in the Discord, it will obviously be posted on the Discord as well. LMU starts in 2 weeks' time. So you've got 2 weeks off, and then 3 weeks' time. 2 weeks off, that third week, LMU is back. Not LMP2s and GT3s. It will this time be hypercars and GT3s, where the grids are looking fantastic already. 10-week calendar, not the 7 weeks. And the calendar for that is already out. We shown it on the stream last week. I will run through it once more very quickly. 8th of September, we start Interlagos, Imola, Fuji, Kota, Daytona, the original home of SimPlay Motorsport, so it's great to go back there. Spa-Francorchamps, Silverstone, Sebring, Laguna Seca, and Qatar. Fastest lap I don't have in front of me at the minute, Adam, otherwise I would have let you know. Sorry about that one in the chat. But that is all we have time for. What a season it has been. What a season for the Balkan Simub and Vitas as your Platinum driver. Sokolov, obviously, for the Constructors' Championship as well. And what a season for Matt Wright winning that Gold Championship. But for me, Mike, Mathew, all the drivers across all 3 platforms of racing, across all 3 series of racing, this season, we get ready for a bit of a break before LMU and ACC takes back to your screens. In the meantime, keep your eyes out on social media and Discord for any sign-ups or anything coming your way. Any special events, fun events that may be happening as well as checking out Design Manchester, our fantastic partner and sponsors, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing and much more, including SimPlay Motorsport merchandise. Head over to Facebook, search for Designed Manchester, and there you'll find Mike Matthews, who'll be able to put you in the right direction. We'll be back though in a couple of weeks' time. From all of us, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.